Part 14. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 131. Silence. Stay silent. Awkward silence. Well, I don't believe it. Yilin stood up expressionlessly and prepared to leave. No, boss. Li Chang'e seemed to regard Yilin as the last straw. He grabbed Yilin's pants tightly and refused to let Yilin turn around and leave. Pan Xiaozhen yawned boredly. Have you forgotten your identity a little bit? Yilin looked dumbfounded as she looked at Li Chang'e hanging on her lap and acting playfully. International superstar. Li Chang'e said weakly. I mean another identity. The most handsome man in the world. Li Chang'e sounded a little unsure. Yilin. Oh, don't go. Boss. I know. I absolutely know it. Seeing that Yilin was about to leave after a disagreement, Li Chang'e said quickly, I know. I haven't forgotten it. But damn, I just hit a ghost. I don't want to. I'm helpless too. Don't you have the demon killing technique? Yilin thought for a while. This is a skill they learned together in Gawu Mountain. Although it is of no use. It's like an ancient story. A pig butcher learned the art of slaying dragons through painstaking efforts. However, there are no dragons in the world. This is pretty miserable. The reason Yilin felt that the skill demon killing technique was useless was that, after the trial at Aniwo Mountain, this skill could not improve her strength at all. If he hadn't brought an Apocalypse Night module that could strengthen his skills, the demon killing technique would have been useless to Yilin. Think of this. Yilin chuckled again and added, isn't it just right, the demon killing technique can finally be used. Li Chang'e. This was so reasonable that Li Chang'e was speechless. Under Li Chang'e's persistent pursuit, Yilin had no choice but to sit down again. This time Li Chang'e finally didn't dare to talk nonsense anymore and went straight to the point. Get to the point. Come on. Ahem. Li Chang'e coughed twice, cleared his throat habitually, and worked up his emotions. His expression gradually became sad. Actually, it's a long story. Yilin, then please keep your story short. I'm very busy. Yilin's words were not to shirk. Although it seems that nothing big happened after Yilin returned from her trip to Gotham City. But whether it is continuing to study the Dionysian factor in the body. Let's continue to make plans for the future. Or develop telekinesis. Or maybe track Mo Mingmeng's research progress. No matter what it is far better than sitting here and listening to Li Chang'e's nonsense. Because it's not important. Li Chang'e was speechless. But he seemed to realize that if he didn't focus on the key points, Yilin and Pan Zhenji would most likely knock him to the ground with one punch and then walk away. In Li Chang'e's view, one of these two guys was plain looking and the other was neurotic, but neither of them was a good person. Then, Li Chang'e looked at the expressionless Yilin and Pan Zhenji, and rekindled his emotions. That night, the night of September 7th, I just came back from filming a scene at Hating Film and Television City. Oh, by the way, the movie is called The Gambler, The Saint, The Emperor, The Immortal, and The Time-Traveling Melee. It is expected to be released next year. If you want to watch it, I will give you a special ticket for the premiere. Li Chang'e looked at Pan Zhenji again, I'll give you one too. Yilin stood up silently. Pan Xiaozhen clenched his fist silently. Ahem, cough, cough, the next step is the point. The point. The point. Yilin sat down again. Pan Xiaozhen loosened his clenched fists. Seeing that the atmosphere was not right, Li Chang'e quickly said, you know, normally, I would definitely have a special car to pick me up, but that day, Sister Lu was feeling a little unwell, and I was too lazy to drive by myself. It was very dark, a little cold, and chilly. In addition, Hating Film and Television City is not far from this villa, so I simply disguised myself that day and planned to walk back from the film and television city. Oh, by the way, you may not understand that a star like me has too many fans. If I am in, being recognized on the street will definitely be troublesome. Pan Xiaozheng suddenly said, a fan like when Manny. Bang bang bang. A special effect of chrysanthemums blooming suddenly appeared behind Li Chang'e. Baffling. Anyway, I was alone that night, walking silently on the path. Here comes the point. Li Chang'e seemed to remember something and trembled slightly. When I came back that day, there was no one else around, because it was too late. At that time, I suddenly felt as if someone was watching from behind. Follow me. The eyes staring at me from behind made me feel something called murderous intent. Ah. Yes, Lao Pan, that's the kind of look you have. Yilin. Li Chang'e paused for a moment before continuing. My first reaction was that I might have encountered a paparazzi, so I didn't pay attention at the time. Anyway, I have experience in this matter. So I hid with the help of many years of experience, but what you don't know is that the sight of my sight made me feel closer and closer, closer and closer, and closer and closer, and suddenly. Li Chang'e shouted loudly. Pan Xiaozheng jumped directly onto the sofa, standing straight with an expressionless face, and a metal baseball bat appeared in his hand. Speak what you say. Can you stop reading your lines with such emotion? The corner of Yilin's eyes twitched slightly, resisting the urge to punch him, and then moved away from Pan Xiaozheng without leaving a trace. To be precise, he and Harley Quinn's good friend separated 2 positions. Only then did Pan Xiaozheng realize that he had overreacted. He silently put away the metal baseball bat and sat down again. But it was obvious that after Li Chang'e's surprising narration, Pan Xiaozheng's eyes became more interested. Seems interesting. Li Chang'e continued. Suddenly, I turned around, there was no one behind me. Yilin nodded. A common trope for thriller stories. No surprises at all. If there had been something behind him when he turned his head, Li Chang'e would have been gone. Do you still need to ask for help here? Li Chang'e saw that the expressions of Lao Pan and Yilin were calm. Can't help but feel a little disappointed. Little did he know that Yilin and Lao Pan were actually a little disappointed with the ending of this ghost story. Li Chang'e did not dare to continue talking nonsense and continued to tell his supernatural story. Although there was no one behind me when I turned my head, I can be sure that the line of sight has never disappeared. Yilin narrowed her eyes slightly, looking behind Li Chang'e. As Li Chang'e spoke, he noticed Yilin's eyes and turned around quickly in fright. Behind. Empty. Don't scare me. Hee. Yilin smiled and shook her head without explaining. Then I went home. Li Chang'e swallowed hard. My bedroom is on the 2nd floor. Sister Lu also lives here, but she lives on the 1st floor. When Lao Pan heard this, he suddenly became interested. Oh. The tone is the 3rd tone. Ahem, don't get me wrong, forget it, it's not important as a star. Li Chang'e seemed to be accustomed to rumors, and he didn't intend to explain, so he continued to tell supernatural stories. That night I slept alone as usual. As you know, I, Li Chang'e, am very clean and self-possessed. Yilin and Lao Pan nodded at the same time. Expressed belief. But here's the point dash. Li Chang'e suddenly showed a horrified expression. I had to pee urgently in the middle of the night and wanted to get up. It felt like there was a person pressing on my quilt. I couldn't move at all. Sizzling. Suddenly. The ceiling lights dimmed suddenly. Suddenly bright and suddenly extinguished. In the villa, the air conditioner was not turned on, but the temperature seemed to have suddenly dropped a few degrees. A strange sound sounded in everyone's ears at the same time. It's like somewhere in this empty villa, there is a person, using his long nails, once to the left, once to the right, once down, once up, scratching the glass over and over again, making a very enchanting sound. Harsh. When the harsh sound of scraping the glass rang out, a gloomy atmosphere filled the surroundings, as if there was a kind of sad music lingering invisibly in every corner of the villa. The singing sound was like a poignant ghost singing a cappella in my ears. Uh-huh. Snapped. Suddenly. Yilin slapped the table. Poker face. This sudden snap made Li Changa tremble all over and almost pee. Pangenji took out good friends again with an expressionless face. Turn off your special effects. Yilin had just returned from a trip to Gotham City, and she almost had a damn translation accent coming out of her mouth. Sorry, I'm used to it. Hey, I'm used to it. That's it when the mood comes. Li Changa readjusted his emotions. The weird special effects all around disappeared one after another. The lights are on as usual. The atmosphere returned to normal. Ghost on the bed. Yilin lowered his head and thought for a moment. This seems to be a common thread in those classic thrillers, supernatural suspense novels. But looking at Li Changa's attitude, it didn't look like he was joking. Have you seen the so-called ghost? Li Changa cried sadly, I'm just afraid if I can't see him. If I could see him, wouldn't I kill him myself? No matter what, I, Li Changa, am a man who has experienced the battle at Kiwu Mountain. September 7th, Yilin's expression was calm, only that night. No. Li Changa held his head tightly in pain, his expression a little pale. It's every night. It's been almost a week. Every night when I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel like someone is pressing on my quilt. And, at all, can't move. And not only in the villa, even if I stay in a hotel or sleep in a movie studio, as soon as I fall asleep, that feeling comes all the time. Unless, I don't sleep. Pan Xiaozhang curled his lips, a little bored, then it will be solved if we don't sleep. Li Changa was angry, I'm not you. If you don't sleep, you will die. You will die, you will definitely die. Oh. Pan Xiaozhang trailed off in a long voice, as if he suddenly realized something. Yilin continued to ask, do you think it is a male ghost or a female ghost? Li Changa lowered his head and thought for a moment, feeling a little unsure, I feel like a female ghost, huh? Wait. It's a male ghost and a female ghost. That's not the point at all, okay. Yilin chuckled, besides being pressed, do you have any other discomfort? Li Changa was startled when he heard this, it seems, not. Do you have symptoms of frequent urination, urgency, and difficulty urinating? It seems, not even. Does the apostle panel have negative status? Li Changa opened the apostle panel and took a serious look at it, then shook his head, no. Will your health drop when you are pressed? Li Changa shook his head again. You said you felt like a female ghost, right? Li Changa was slightly startled, but still nodded in agreement. Asked for a round. Yilin came to the conclusion, it's over now. It doesn't have any negative effects, and it makes you feel like a female ghost. Why are you dissatisfied? You're not at a loss anyway. Li Changa was dumbfounded when he heard this. That makes perfect sense. He was unable to refute for a while. It sounds like it's not a bad thing. When I think about it, I feel inexplicably relieved. Yilin glanced behind Li Changa and smiled slightly. Wait, why do I feel like you are trying to trick me? Logically speaking, there seems to be nothing wrong with Yilin's words. But Li Changa always felt that something was wrong. Strange. Boom, boom, boom. Right now. There was a knock on the door outside. Chang Ji, there is another master who said he was entrusted by someone to solve your troubles. After Zhang Hanlu knocked on the door, he said to Li Changa through a door, this master did not make an appointment before coming, but I think I'd like to ask for your opinion if I want to meet him. Another master? Yilin had a strange expression. Lao Pan chuckled. Li Changa's expression changed, his handsome face turned red, and he seemed a little embarrassed. Well, actually, just because it couldn't be solved, I quietly asked Sister Lu to find an expert in this field a while ago, but those experts struggled a lot. Will, there is nothing special about it, it should be suppressed, it should come. Expert. In this age of advanced technology, there are actually experts in this field? Yilin was a little surprised. Whether it was in his previous life or this life, he had never been in contact with such people. Now I'm a little curious. Li Changa originally wanted Zhang Hanlu to kick out the master who volunteered. After all, if he hadn't been so disappointed with the master, he wouldn't have pinned his hopes on Yilin. After all, he had just entered the circle of apostles and did not know a few apostles. After thinking about it, in desperation, Yilin, who left a deep impression on Li Changa in Gawu Mountain, became Li Changa's last life-saving straw. Just when Li Changa was about to ask Zhang Hanlu to expel him, Yilin smiled slightly. Let him come in and try. You won't get pregnant if you try. Fine. Li Changa has been restless these past few days because of catching ghosts. He has also pushed out a lot of announcements and paid a lot of liquidated damages. At work, he is very relaxed. A middle-aged man in a suit pushed open the door and entered, holding a suitcase in hand. After Zhang Hanlu invited the master in, he couldn't help but take a look inside, seeming a little curious. But there were so many people, and so Zhang Hanlu walked out without asking any questions. Click. The door was locked again. The middle-aged man in a suit has a goatee, a smile on his face, and looks like he is carrying the wind when he walks. If you don't look at the suit, he has a bit of a Taoist spirit. I, Zhang Dehai, am the 98th generation single disciple of Longhu Mountain. I have met Brother Changa. Zhang Dehai bowed his hands towards Li Changa. The 98th generation single pass of Longhushan? The legendary Zhang Tianqi lineage. Li Changa glanced at Yilin, somewhat asking for help. Yilin smiled slightly and said nothing. You. Li Changa straightened his expression. In front of others, no matter what, he still had to maintain his handsomeness and demeanor. How else can you become an international superstar? He was about to say please sit down. Unexpectedly, Zhang Dehai suddenly frowned and pointed at Li Changa's eyebrows. Brother Changa, your hall is dark and evil is hidden between your eyebrows. It seems that you have provoked something terrible. Li Changa. Yilin. Lao Pan silently put away his baseball bat, looking like he was watching the fun. Master, please save me. Money is not an issue. When Li Changa heard this, he seemed to be interested. Zhang Dehai stretched out 2 fingers from his mouth, waited quickly, and then said with a smile, it doesn't matter whether it's money or not. Brother Changa, just give it to me. Sure. Without saying anything, Zhang Dehai asked Li Changa to take him to the bedroom to do things. Yilin and Lao Pan prepared to follow. Zhang Dehai frowned when he looked at Yilin and the two of them. Li Changa was also a man who had been involved in society, and he did not use the same rhetoric to fool Zhang Hanlu. Otherwise, if the words Master Yi are spoken, it is very likely that Zhang Dehai will be furious and say, how dare a mere kid do anything in front of me, Zhang Dehai. Next, I will omit the 10,000 word slap in the face plot. Li Changa is not that stupid. After fooling Zhang Dehai with the excuse of friends, Zhang Dehai carefully looked at Yilin and Lao Pan. Yilin smiled slightly, showing a harmless smile, and Zhang Dehai's frown relaxed. Forget it, it doesn't matter. Don't move around later, you two, and don't do anything bad. Then, Zhang Dehai followed Li Changa with a solemn expression and came to Li Changa's room. Li Changa's room is very spacious, with a large round bed full of sentiment. Oh! Lao Pan raised his eyebrows. Li Changa coughed twice quickly, then straightened his expression, and told Jiang Tianqi the details without answering the crazy question. This kind of profession is really hard to find in this day and age. Even more rare than the number of apostles. What a strong evil spirit. As soon as Zhang Dehai stepped into the room, he frowned. Li Chang'e was stunned. Is this deceiving people or is he really capable? Evil spirit? He, a man haunted by ghosts, didn't even feel the evil spirit. How did he get this see? I need the master to take action. Although Li Chang'e didn't quite believe it. But with the mentality of preferring to believe it, I can only let this guy believe it. Anyway, even if he was cheated out of a fortune, it would be nothing to Li Chang'e. Taking a step back, what if it is really solved? That would be perfect. And Yulin also said that he had no choice. Therefore, Li Chang'e could only become a living doctor. He was really under pressure and couldn't bear it. Scared. When Li Chang'e was struggling, Zhang Dehai didn't say much nonsense, and directly opened the box he had been holding in his hand with his fingerprints in front of everyone. This is quite advanced. Sure enough, no matter which industry you are in, you must keep pace with the times. Li Chang'e nodded silently and gave a like. In Zhang Dehai's box, there are many complicated-looking instruments. There is also a metal dagger with many small words engraved on it. Humph, no ghost can hide in front of me, Zhang Dehai. With confidence in his eyes, Zhang Dehai took out a handheld instrument from the box. There is a pointer at the top of the instrument. After Zhang Dehai turned on the instrument, the indicator light still flashed and made a beep, beep, beep sound. Yulin suddenly noticed that the light in this room seemed to be darker. Not only Yulin, but also Lao Pan and Li Chang'e noticed this. Lao Pan looked at Li Chang'e silently. Li Chang'e gestured with extreme injustice. This is not my special effect. Suddenly. Just when Yulin, Li Chang'e, and Lao Pan were flirting with each other. The strange instrument in Zhang Dehai's hand made a crazy beep 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 sound, as if urging someone to get in the car. Zhang Dehai was stunned. He could have secretly pressed a button to create this tense atmosphere. But he hasn't pressed it yet. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 132. The indicating instrument in Master Zhang's hand beeped crazily. Zhang Dehai's face instantly turned pale. Etc., etc. Could it be that you really encountered something dirty? Although he is indeed the 98th generation single disciple of Longhu Mountain. However, most of the truly useful things passed down from 98 generations have been lost long ago. More than 80% of his secret books were filled in by his own brainstorming and online research. Besides, where are the ghosts in this world? According to scientific statistics, the so-called ghost is just a weird magnetic field. Wherever supernatural appears, it is most likely that the magnetic field is different from ordinary places, so all kinds of weird things happen. Believe in science. Therefore, Jiang Tianqi relied on his inheritance and self-study to solve many strange things in the industry. The remaining point depends on acting. Life is like a play, it all depends on acting skills. The acting is realistic, well prepared, and the props are high-end, so naturally people will believe it. But something seems wrong with the script today. No. This is completely wrong. He hasn't even pressed the beep button yet. Damn it. Jiang Tianqi had already silently shouted hundreds of F***ck words in his heart. He even quietly pressed another button numerous times. It turned out to be the button that was pressed when it was done. Suddenly, Zhang Dehai felt as if something was coming out of his nose, ears, and eyes. Hot, sticky, and thick. Wait, it seems a little sweet. Why is it sweet? Jiang Tianqi took a gulp. It turns out to be blood. Puff. Jiang Tianqi opened his mouth and spit out a column of blood. Hum. This is Li Changa's voice. Yo-ho. This was Lao Pan's voice, which seemed to have a hint of joy. Yulin slowly asked a question. Call out. Boom, boom, boom. In full view of everyone, Zhang Dehai fell backwards with blood flowing from his 7 holes. He bounced twice on the floor and made no sound at all. I don't know what he found, and his expression was extremely horrified. I. When Li Changa saw this scene, why didn't he realize that something was weird? This time he was so frightened that he sat down on the ground. A cemetery special effect suddenly appeared behind Li Changa. Boundless tombstones, endless as far as the eye can see. A burst of cheerful and festive Suana sounds sounded in the ears of Yulin and Lao Pan at the same time. Huh. It doesn't seem right to say it's cheerful and festive. Yulin remembered that this seemed to be a farewell song played at funerals in the old days. Turn off your special effects first. Yulin frowned and checked Zhang Dehai's condition. I really want to turn it off too. Li Changa was crying, but his 50-cent special effects was a passive skill and could not be released actively. When his emotions were in place, the special effects came rolling in. I can't turn it on and off, in and out. Lao Pan asked, dead? Not yet. Yulin checked the carotid artery, and there was still a pulse. The bleeding from these 7 holes looks a bit miserable, but at least he is still alive. A few minutes passed. Li Changa closed his eyes and finally suppressed the panic in his heart. The surrounding special effects gradually fade away. But when he saw Zhang Dehai's bloody face, he suddenly exploded with a grave special effect behind his back. Lao Pan narrowed his eyes. Yo! Tomb of Li Changa was also written on the grave. It seems that Li Changa has even thought about the special effects of his own death. No wonder the special effects are so realistic. 10 minutes later, the ambulance arrived at the large-scale massacre scene and carried away Zhang Tianqi, who had passed out and was bleeding from 7 holes. Even because of Zhang Tianqi's strange expression and symptoms, the medical staff on board the vehicle couldn't help but call the police. Zhang Hanlu kept a dark face and was so busy going back and forth. Because Li Changa had a special status and had a certain degree of public influence, after the police collected the evidence, they found nothing strange and did not do anything to Li Changa and others. Of course, further investigation results will have to wait until Zhang Dehai wakes up or until Zhang Dehai's blood test report comes out. After all, although Zhang Dehai passed out, he was not dead after all, so it was not considered a murder. After finishing dealing with a bunch of messy things, it was already after dusk. It's getting dark. Zhang Hanlu looked like he was holding back what he wanted to say, and he didn't know whether to ask some questions or not. But Li Changa's expression was extremely calm, and he waved his hand, telling Zhang Hanlu to sleep peacefully and not to worry. But when Zhang Hanlu left, "Boss! Save me!" Li Changa hugged Yulin's thigh tightly again. "Who said you won't die just by being crushed? Who said that? Who said that? Who dares to say that? Didn't Zhang Dehai lose half his life? He is still a disaster. Li Changa is the one who is being oppressed by ghosts. As we all know, every wrongdoer has his own owner. Even Zhang Dehai, who accidentally got involved, bled from his orifices and lost half of his life. Doesn't Li Changa, the rightful owner, want to ascend to heaven where he stood? Save me, save me, save me. Don't make any noise." Yulin closed her eyes. At this time, Li Changa looked at Lao Pan pitifully. "Wait a minute, I remember you seem to know the secret of killing ghosts. Demon slaying mystery is obviously one level higher than demon slaying technique, maybe it will be useful?" Yulin opened her eyes. Smile slightly. As soon as he saw Li Changa's expression, he knew what Li Changa was thinking. Of course, Yulin did not dare to confirm whether Lao Pan's secret theory of demon killing was useful in this situation. But He's useless. Yilin didn't explain much about Lao Pan's current situation. 3 words. Be concise and to the point. It's just useless. Pan Xiaozheng is currently unable to do anything except open the storage space. He is just like a mobile warehouse among the apostles. Snored. Lao Pan was unhappy. He turned his head away, expressionless. Li Chang'e. Yilin thought for a moment, her expression calm. When Li Chang'e heard Yilin say that Pan Zhenji seemed to be dead, he immediately ignored old Pan and looked at Yilin blankly. A long time. Yilin finally spoke. Eat first. What the hell? Li Chang'e is rich. Very rich. Yilin directly ordered a very expensive takeaway. One meal can usually be worth dozens of meals. After eating and drinking, Yilin burped, and Lao Pan picked his teeth silently. Li Chang'e lowered his head and glanced at the time. 2200 hours. Before today, Li Chang'e had gradually gotten used to the feeling of being pressed in the past few days, and that was all. But after seeing Zhang Dehai's tragic situation, no matter what, Li Chang'e would not go to bed tonight. What if you are crushed to death? Waiting online. Urgent. Actually, I already have an idea. Yilin did not continue to lie. As the saying goes, the problem that needs to be solved still needs to be solved. Only. Yilin is currently not sure whether she can solve Li Chang'e's strange incident. Actually, tell the truth. This time it was indeed Yilin's responsibility. After all, he had accepted the status of a special group not long ago, and Li Chang'e's experience was indeed an abnormality. If Yilin can't solve it in the end, maybe Zhao Yulong will have to send someone to take over. At that point, it would be a bit embarrassing. When Li Chang'e heard this, his eyes lit up. Yilin actually discovered the abnormality in Li Chang'e much earlier. Although it was not visible on the surface, when Yilin spread his perception, he felt that something seemed to be following behind Li Chang'e. However, even Yilin's psychic tentacles could not detect the abnormality behind Li Chang'e. Invisible? No, it is closer to an existence of nothingness. Kind of like spirit. Of course, the spirit mentioned here is not the same type of existence as the ghost mentioned by Li Chang'e. He. After Yilin locked the door, there were only 3 people left in Li Chang'e's room. The 3 apostles. Oh no, I should say 2.5. Lao Pan's current state can only be considered half a level at best. Boss. Please stop teasing me. Get this scary thing away quickly, I'm almost scared to death. Yes, cover your mouth first. Yes, cover it to death. Li Chang'e looked confused, but seeing that Yilin didn't seem to be joking, he obediently covered his mouth. Cover to death. After making sure that no one was peeping around, Yilin took out the blood jasmine from the storage space. After all, Li Chang'e and Yilin had experienced the same instance of Ghost Mist Mountain. When blood jasmine appeared, Li Chang'e was not too surprised. The only thing he found strange was why the knife looked different. Suddenly, a white shadow appeared in front of Li Chang'e's eyes. It seems a bit familiar. It turns out it's you, the swollen-faced ghost hunter. After Bai Xiaoi appeared, he looked around and greeted Li Chang'e with a smile. Li Chang'e was stunned for a moment. Completely stunned. Eyelids twitching wildly. Fortunately, Yilin had already anticipated Li Chang'e's reaction after seeing Bai Xiaoi. After all, Bai Xiaoi beat Li Chang'e into a pig's head over and over again in Gawu Mountain. It probably also left a psychological shadow. If Li Chang'e hadn't covered his mouth beforehand, the scream would have probably resounded through the sky, and might even have attracted the attention of the police. After Yilin summoned Bai Xiaoi through summoning spirit, he immediately shared the view with Bai Xiaoi. The thing behind Li Chang'e is obviously something that cannot be observed by the human eye. Even Yilin's perception could only vaguely detect something, but in fact, it was more of just a feeling. Yilin couldn't clearly distinguish what kind of existence it was. At that time, Yilin had a guess. Yilin opened her eyes again. From Bai Xiaoai's perspective, the world seen through spiritual eyes is different from that of humans. In an instant, Yilin's pupils shrank slightly. Behind Li Chang'e, a long-haired woman wearing a pure white dress floated in the void like a ghost. In an instant, the woman seemed to feel the gaze from Yilin, and actually raised her head. Behind her long black hair, a pair of eyes without whites, as dark as ink, looked towards Yilin. The moment he looked into those strange eyes, Yilin's eyebrows suddenly felt a stinging pain, which actually knocked him out of Bai Xiaoai's field of vision. Because her spirit was in a trance for a moment, Bai Xiaoai could no longer maintain her spiritual body and disappeared from the room. Call. The whole process started when Yilin and Bai Xiaoai shared their vision, but it only lasted 10 seconds. Yilin didn't try again. In fact, he already had a rough idea. And when Bai Xiaoai disappeared, Li Chang'e's horrified expression finally calmed down. The whimpering screams also stopped. Lao Pan had been getting along with Yilin for a while, and he had already seen with his own eyes that Yilin summoned Bai Xiaoai out to mess around with her when she was fine, but she didn't show any abnormality. After the shock, Li Chang'e looked frightened and was covered in cold sweat. Just now, I seem to have seen a ghost again just now. And it's the female ghost from Gui Wushan. Yilin rubbed the center of his eyebrows, which still stung a little. Even though it was just a surprise. But it was enough for Yilin to confirm the speculation in her heart. Masterless spirit. This is the true face of the thing pressing behind Li Chang'e. Of course, this ownerless spirit is not the ghosts described in thrillers and supernatural novels. The essence of the ownerless spirit is the same as that of Bai Xiaoai and Nai Hongxiu under Yilin. They all come from the other world, spirits. Yilin patted Li Chang'e on the shoulder. Li Chang'e. I have to say, your intuition is quite accurate. Li Chang'e. Really a female ghost. This is indeed a bit tricky. Before being reborn, Yilin had indeed heard of the existence of ownerless spirits. But I have never seen it with my own eyes, let alone encountered it. First of all, the source of the spirit is of course from the spirit-possessed weapon, there is no doubt about this. When a weapon is enchanted with an enchantment card, the weapon can have the ability to summon spirits. Spirit-possessed weapons are extremely rare. According to incomplete statistics, no more than 5% of apostles possess spirit-possessed weapons. Of course, there must be some flaws in this incomplete statistics. After all, there are many apostles who have not revealed their trump cards. But overall, enchanted weapons are definitely rare. Just the extremely difficult acquisition conditions that Yilin speculated were enough to make more than 90% of the apostles sigh with admiration, and could only look at them anonymously with envy. And when an apostle dies in the other world, the possessed weapon will also disappear and be completely annihilated. But when the apostle fell, there was actually another situation. Death in the real world. The power of the tower seems to be omnipotent in the real world, but in the real world, there seem to be many limitations. When Yilin possessed the spirit of Blood Jasmine, she received a friendly reminder from the tower. Spirit-attached weapons may backfire on the host, so please be careful to get along well with spirits. And it reminded me 3 times. Explain that this is extremely important. When the apostle dies in the real world, the possessed weapon will not disappear with the death of the apostle, but will become another existence. This is the thing pressing on Li Chang'e. This is also the origin of the ownerless spirit. Apostles with spirit-possessed weapons are already rare, let alone apostles with spirit-possessed weapons who have fallen into the real world. Li Chang'e is so good, but he actually encountered this kind of thing. I don't know whether he is lucky, or not. In fact, when she and Bai Xiaoi shared the field of view just now, Yilin could use disaster written on the masterless spirit. But apart from having a good time, it has no other use. After all, what gives Yilin a headache is that now he seems to have no means to completely eliminate the spirit. Next door, Zhang Dehai just used scientific methods and annoyed the mother spirit. He bled from all 7 holes in an instant, walked out of the villa, and lay in the hospital. He has not woken up yet. If there is a disaster, Yilin may not be okay. But it's hard to say for Li Chang'e. Dying on the spot is not completely impossible. Yilin couldn't say what crazy things the masterless spirit would do once it was angered and went completely berserk. But it's nothing more than hang to death. Lie down and die. Die sideways. Died apart. Leave the blood to die. Li Chang'e will probably end up like this. Is this the benefit of having high charm? Yilin silently made another guess. Li Chang'e was still confused. I was thinking about what Yilin meant by precise intuition. Yilin thought about it for a moment. It was decided not to reveal the fact that Li Chang'e really had a female spirit on his body for the time being. It would be bad if things went in some weird direction. It's not early either. Yilin looked at the time. Okay, go to bed first, and we'll talk about it tomorrow if you need anything. What the hell? When Li Chang'e heard this, he was so frightened that several special effects of tombs exploded behind him. Tomorrow. Do I still dare to sleep tonight? Don't worry, if I'm not wrong, nothing will happen to you tonight. What if I die? What will happen to my fans? Li Chang'e almost cried. Just in case? Yilin was silent for a moment. Then he patted Li Chang'e on the shoulder. Go with peace of mind. The next day. Li Chang'e. People are still there. Yilin had a good sleep in Li Chang'e's luxurious villa and felt refreshed. When Li Chang'e had 2 dark circles under his eyes, his expression was somewhat similar to that of Lao Pan, resembling the 2 masters of time management. After eating breakfast, Yilin finally told the anxious Li Chang'e her plan. I probably know what is pressing on you. Think about it carefully. Did you go to any special place or come into contact with any special people on September 7th? After speaking, Yilin silently glanced behind Li Chang'e. Now that she knew there was a female spirit behind Li Chang'e, Yilin couldn't say anything unpleasant. That thing. That thing. That ghost. And so on. After all, as we all know, women, whether they are humans or ghosts, seem to have a tendency to hold grudges. It's better to think carefully about your words and be careful. Li Chang'e didn't dare to fall asleep all night. Now when he got up early in the morning, he saw that Yilin was finally willing to seriously solve the haunting incident for him. He was so moved that he hugged Yilin's thigh and cried bitterly, and vowed to hug Yilin's thigh tightly for the rest of his life. Never give up. After being moved, Li Chang'e did not dare to joke about the matter, so he recalled every detail of that day on September 7th very seriously. I remember that day. I attended a fan signing event this morning. It was officially arranged to build momentum for the new movie. Oh, it's the one called The Gambling Man, Gambling Saint, Gambling Emperor, Gambling Immortal, Time-Traveling Melee. Yilin. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, Bai Xueshi. Chapter 133. Zhang Dehai's strange bleeding from all his orifices in Li Chang'e's villa was finally suppressed. Because Zhang Dehai had already woken up that night. Then he silently wiped away the regretful nosebleeds and went through the discharge procedures for himself without saying a word. Can't stop it? It is said that Zhang Dehai left hating city overnight and swore a poisonous oath within the industry to never come closer to Li Chang'e again. The kind that once violated will never be repeated. All in all, this matter has been revealed. When Zhang Hanlu told Li Chang'e such news, she also looked strange, as if some words were stuck in her throat and she didn't know whether to say them or not. Did you leave any relevant information about your fan meeting and autograph signing event? Li Chang'e nodded, that's a must. Those who can participate in the signing event are only those whose fan base reaches a certain level on the official website. Otherwise, where would there be a venue that can accommodate my huge fan base? Having said this, Li Chang'e felt a little complacent, and the tip of his nose turned up silently towards the sky. So this is the story caused by your grass powder. Pan Xiaozhang suddenly poured a basin of cold water on him. No, it was an accident, Yilin corrected. When Li Chang'e heard this, he became furious, Fan peed. I am a professionally trained star. A superstar. An international superstar. No matter what the circumstances, I will never have a super-friendly relationship with my fans. Yilin, when Manny. Pan Xiaozhang, unless you can't help it. Li Chang'e. The three of them chatted, and after breakfast, they left the villa and went all the way to Li Chang'e's company. As soon as he entered the company and there were no outsiders, Li Chang'e decisively took off his hat, sunglasses, and mask, revealing his true face at the level of a male god. The lady at the front desk of the company recognized Li Chang'e at a glance. When she saw Li Chang'e coming to the company with two outsiders, her pretty face turned red, but she couldn't help but asked, Gag, didn't you say you applied for leave? Why did you come back again? Could it be? Li Chang'e flicked his bangs, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, turned slightly sideways at the most handsome angle, and said in an indifferent tone, it's nothing, I just want to come back to check some information. Next, Li Chang'e did not dare to hesitate and directly stated his intention. Who will participate in the fan signing event on September 7th? The young lady at the front desk was slightly startled. After being stunned for a moment, she suddenly glanced at Li Chang'e with a strange look. Gag, can't you? The quality of the fans is uneven, how can we make do with it? If it doesn't work, we will. There are a lot of beauties in the company. So why bother looking far away? Pan Xiaozhang, bah. Scumbag. Li Chang'e. Yilin. Young lady. To be honest, Li Chang'e's itinerary for the day was not too complicated. Attend fan meeting in the morning. After the fan signing event ended, he rushed to the studio without stopping and worked until late at night, when he encountered a supernatural incident. Could it be the day before? Yilin looked down at the detailed fan list information in her hand. Of course, even if it is detailed, it is just general information such as name, age, phone number, address, measurements, etc. It is a voluntary item to fill in. As for gender, there is no doubt that they are all female. If there was one more man in the fan list, Yilin would probably have 10 or 8 more thoughts. Li Chang'e saw Yilin frowning, feeling happy and confused at the same time. Happily, Yilin finally took this matter seriously. The troubling thing is, of course, looking at Yilin's expression, this matter doesn't seem to be solved that easily. Yilin already had a vague idea in her mind. The reason why Li Chang'e was haunted by the masterless spirit, apart from the possible reason that the charm value attribute is too high, another important reason should be the previous apostle who had had close contact with the lordless spirit, or had come into contact with the possessed weapon of the unknown spirit. Only in these two situations, plus the high charm value, can one be entangled by the ownerless spirit. But actually Yilin was not in a hurry. First of all, the concern for Li Chang'e's life was not important enough to make Yilin anxious. Secondly, apart from being suppressed by the masterless spirit in the middle of the night, Li Chang'e did not have any other adverse reactions. For the time being, Li Chang'e should, maybe, probably not be in danger of his life. Let's take a step back. If Li Chang'e knew that the ownerless spirit was the mother spirit, he might feel a little secretly happy. What to do? Li Chang'e looked at Yilin longingly. Cold salad. Yilin chuckled. You don't really think that I can help you solve this matter just based on this list, do you? Li Chang'e was stunned when he heard this. It seems reasonable. He had indeed taken Yilin too seriously before. Also, there should be a list of all the people you contacted at the film and television city on September 7th, right? Yilin put away the fan list for the time being. Yes, 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 Li Chang'e nodded frantically like a chicken pecking at rice. In the film and television city, the list of all staff members is recorded. This one must not escape. No. Yilin smiled slightly. I mean everyone you have come into contact with, everything. Pan Xiaozheng added, it means that those you contact quietly will count. Li Chang'e. Even so. But Li Chang'e didn't dare to joke with his own life. After all, he didn't know yet that the thing pressing on him was a mother spirit. He thought seriously for about 10 minutes. After thinking about it, Li Chang'e's expression was affirmative. I can be sure that I didn't come into contact with anyone in the film and television city that day except for the staff related to that movie. At the end, Li Chang'e emphasized again, I guarantee it with my personality. In other words, Yilin got the list of all the people in the film and television city who had contact with Li Chang'e from Li Chang'e. Combined with that fan list, the two are united in memory. A total of 348 people. Li Chang'e's eyes lit up. The murderer must be among them. She's on your back. Li Chang'e didn't believe it. Humph, are you scaring me? Yilin chuckled. He has not yet told Li Chang'e the truth about the masterless spirit. Therefore, Li Chang'e still doesn't know that the most fundamental reason for everything he has encountered so far is because of the supernatural event caused by the death of a certain apostle in the real world. In fact, Yilin is not yet sure how to completely deal with the unknown spirit. After all, Yilin had only heard about this situation before and didn't have much information about it. But although she doesn't have many clues, the only thing Yilin can do at the moment is to find the owner of the ownerless spirit among these 348 people, so as to find clues to solve the problem of the ownerless spirit. Yilin also became interested. After all, this masterless spirit is not lying on Yilin's back. From the tragedy of Zhangdehai, we can guess that as long as we don't do anything excessive to stimulate the masterless spirit, the mother spirit should not attack anyone other than Li Chang'e at will. In fact, after a brief contact with the mother spirit last night, Yilin asked Bai Xiaoi afterwards if there was a way to deal with the spirit through spirit. But when Bai Xiaoi talked about this, his expression was a bit helpless. The one on Li Chang'e's back seems to be of a higher level than Bai Xiaoi and Nai Hongxiu, so Bai Xiaoi has no other way to get the ownerless spirit. Therefore, after the communication failed, Yilin could only deal with it in a slightly normal way. Yilin found a place. Connect to the internet. Hello. Lazy voice. Meng Meng, help me check something. Yilin directly dialed the private number in Molly's laboratory. Fortunately, it is the kind that has been added to the whitelist, so there is no need to be ashamed to report the password. Acridine? You really don't go to the Three Treasures Palace for anything? Do you have to come to me when something happens? There was a bit more complaint in Molly's voice. Yilin naturally heard it, so her tone was very good. Isn't it because we can't find anyone else? There seemed to be the sound of something being crushed on the other end of the phone. Yilin, what is broken? Molly muttered, no, you heard wrong. Tell me. What's the matter? Yilin frowned at the sudden exclamations. What kind of medicine did this child take? But Yilin didn't think much about it, she was a woman after all. There are always a few grumpy days every month. I'm investigating something. Please help me check the list of all natural and unnatural deaths in Hating City in the days before and after September 7. I want the databases of the Hating City Police Department and several major hospitals in Hating City. There should be. When Molly heard this, her anger disappeared instantly, but she felt a little strange. She checked around and found that Yilin's current location was in Hating City. Hating City? Where are you going and what are you doing? Haha. Yilin was slightly away from Li Changa and Li Changa while he was on the phone with Molly. He looked at Li Changa with a pained face, and then laughed. Well, it's not a big deal. Helping someone in the entertainment industry, my friend, let me solve a little trouble. Oh, by the way, he is the one who I told you was beaten into a pig's head last time. Huh? Are you the same kind? Molly understood immediately and her tone became serious. In other words, it is related to the prohibited matters. Yilin fell silent. When Molly saw that Yilin didn't answer, she was also silent for a few seconds, but she didn't ask any more questions. Originally, hacking into the databases of police stations and hospitals was not a good thing, but if it wasn't discovered, it shouldn't be a big deal. Well, that should be it. Miss Molly thought so. 2 minutes later, Miss Molly finally organized a file. In fact, it didn't take much time for her to hack into a few databases. After all, a database with a low security level is just like her own back garden for Molly. She can get in and out without any difficulty. Instead, it took Molly a lot of effort to copy and paste several pieces of information into one. Okay. I have sent it to you. Remember to delete it in time when you are done using it. If it is leaked, there will be a little trouble. After getting the information, Yilin agreed repeatedly. Sure enough, there are some things that this ant can do more reliably than anyone else. Perfect. Humph. At first I thought you had committed something again and fought all the way from Qingcheng to Hating City. Yilin was suddenly speechless. Oh, right. Molly suddenly said, the thing you told me last time, was the thing you said you wanted to have a blood test. After you finish your work there, you'd better come to my laboratory. You should know the location. Although it's almost enough to draw a tube of blood and keep it fresh and transport it here, but if you want to get the most accurate data, it's best to draw the blood and test it immediately. Well, maybe we need to check the cells in other parts. So. Yilin was slightly startled. But what Molly said seemed to make sense. In this case, it seems that after all the troubles in Hating City are over, I have to go to the capital. It shouldn't take too long. At the very least, Yilin plans to figure out the changes to the body caused by the Dionysus factor before the next trial in the other world. Through scientific means. At last. Molly suddenly raised her voice, don't come to me if you have anything to do. I'm very busy. Toot toot. The phone hung up. Yilin. Can't find anything? So what do you do if you have nothing to do? Yilin seriously doubted whether Molly had said the wrong line. Hating City is an ultramodern metropolis with a population of 30 million. Whether due to disease, natural death, accidents, etc., around 300 people die every day. Molly's search directly gave Yilin a list of all the police stations, hospitals, and even crematoriums in Hating City. This efficiency is amazing. Looking at the long list of names in her hand, Yilin couldn't help but feel a little headache. Even though his mental attribute is now as high as 6.9, which is more than double that of ordinary people, it will not be possible to process this data in a short time. Unless the state of Gui Wuxian when he broke through the first level of spiritual lock was pretty much the same. Yilin came back from talking on the phone with Molly. Lao Pan was tirelessly turning his palms over and over. I recited Apostle Panel silently in my mind for the first time. It seems that he still can't accept the reality that his account was cancelled for no reason. Li Changa, on the other hand, wrapped his whole head tightly and couldn't see his expression clearly, but he looked behind him from time to time and subconsciously scratched the back of his neck, as if he was picking out worms in his neck. How about it? As soon as he saw Yulin finishing his work, Li Chang'e almost ran up to him and hugged Yulin's thigh tightly. No one else can see his face anyway, so there is no shame. Keep squatting. Yulin was too lazy to talk nonsense with these two guys. Li Chang'e. Pan Xiaozhang, okay. Yulin found a place to sit down. Yulin had spent some time memorizing the list of people participating in Li Chang'e's fan signing event in her mind. And the death list of nearly 2,000 people in my hand. Whatever. It's a lot of work. If she wasn't embarrassed, Yulin would have called Molly in a few minutes and asked her to use scientific screening methods to solve the problem. But it is estimated that during this back and forth, Molly will definitely talk about money. After thinking about it, Yulin still felt that she could have enough food and clothing by using her own brain. Call. Yulin let go of distracting thoughts. Ignoring the ghost-crushed star and mobile warehouse that were playing tricks not far away, Yulin silently entered a state of extreme concentration. Yulin's fingers quickly swiped the screen, and rows of names continued to come into Yulin's eyes. The information was sifted and filtered in Yulin's brain, and finally the possible list was relisted. This kind of operation, which is completely performed by the human brain, seems simple, but in fact, anyone who has used their brains will know that this kind of meaningless and logical name, gender, age, and other information must be processed as quickly as possible. It is handled in such a way that no ordinary manpower can do it. In fact, if you have a computer around you, this operation is not difficult to do. But this is not Yulin's expertise. Half an hour later, Yulin turned off her phone and stretched comfortably. Li Chang'e was dozing off idly. Several times I almost fell on my face to the ground. Fortunately, Li Chang'e's charm was so high that such a tragic incident did not happen. He thinks so. Seeing Yulin approaching, Li Chang'e looked at Yulin eagerly again. 3. Yulin smiled slightly and held out 3 fingers. Li Chang'e. Yulin explained with a smile, I looked for the death list before and after September 7th, and compared it with the 348 people who came into contact with you on September 7th, and found an interesting coincidence. He considered several words, and finally felt that the word coincidence was relatively appropriate. Wait. Death. Li Chang'e was confused for a moment. What does this have to do with the death list? After Yulin said the above words, she silently glanced at the space behind Li Chang'e. Weigh the pros and cons. In fact, compared to the beginning, the scope has been reduced to the extreme. Yulin is 97% sure. It is almost certain that one of the 3 deceased people in the 2 lists must be the former owner of the unknown spirit on Li Chang'e's back. So, Yulin has one way. In front of the masterless spirit, say those 3 names one by one. From the reaction of the masterless spirit, you may be able to get the answer. Only. If something goes wrong and Li Chang'e is tangled by the masterless spirit, there is a certain chance that he will die on the spot. Yulin couldn't tell what the odds were. After all, he had never encountered a masterless spirit before. I don't know what the temper of the lordless spirit is like. Of course, every spirit has a different temperament and character. This can be seen from the 2 spirits Bai Xiaoai and Nai Hongxiu. Yulin could feel at ease and call Bai Xiaoai around like a hunting dog, but she was embarrassed to treat Nai Hongxiu like this. I always feel like something is weird. Therefore, Yulin gradually formed the routine of Bai Xiaoai inserting eyes and Nai Hongxiu's ability changing to bloodshot. 3 names. 3 dead. Who are the apostles? Among the 3 deceased, one was an old special effects artist from Li Chang'e's team in the film and television city. The other 2 are on Li Chang'e's fan list. Both are 2 young women. We can only check them one by one. First of all, Yulin used the Apostle communication function to send the name of the old special effects artist to Li Chang'e and asked him not to say that name. Although Li Chang'e didn't understand Yulin's instructions, it was about his own life. Even if Li Chang'e didn't understand, he didn't dare to ask any more questions. It's him. If I remember correctly, he only went to work in the afternoon that day, then he said he felt uncomfortable and ran back home. Li Chang'e recalled what happened that day and hesitated for a moment, but still followed Yulin's instructions and called Zhang Hanlu. As soon as he received Li Chang'e's call, Zhang Hanlu scolded him on the other end of the phone. It is said that Li Chang'e, as a star, left his manager and ran around. "Hey, Sister Lu, I'm sorry, I want to ask who is that, the old senior who usually does special effects for us?" "What? Dead?" A few minutes later. Li Chang'e looked complicated. "That person died at 1830 on September 7th. The cause of death was heart disease." Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 134. September 12th. 1700 hours. Hating City. The first hospital in the city center. Yulin, Li Chang'e, and Lao Pan came here non-stop. Yulin took the time to swipe Li Chang'e's ID and buy a cup of Uebake hand-brewed coffee, and took it away. Tasty. Li Chang'e wrapped himself up in Asan's appearance all the way, but it didn't cause too much trouble. It's already afternoon, and it's almost time to get off work. The hospital seemed much emptier than in the morning. No matter what era it is, hospitals are always a place where supply exceeds demand. No matter how many medical staff there are, they will never be able to meet the various medical needs of mankind. It is said that hundreds of years ago, medical violence incidents would still occur from time to time. This is simply outrageous. Beauty, please be accommodating. We are not suspicious persons. We are the family members of the deceased. We want to see the deceased before he is cremated. Li Chang'e begged. The nurse at the front desk is a young and beautiful girl who looks about 20 years old. She has some freckles on her face, but she looks very lively. "No, no. The leader said that this time has passed the time for visiting the morgue. Unless there are any special circumstances, you must not go in." "Hey, wait, this deceased patient, I remember that their family members came to cry yesterday morning. Is it one round?" After saying that, the little girl looked at the three people in front of her suspiciously. One of them, who was about the same age as him, smiled slightly, and it didn't look like there was much of a problem. The tall man was wrapped tightly in front of him, not even his nostrils were exposed, and he smelled suspiciously. Another. A strange man with messy hair and dark circles under his eyes, with a serious expression, raising his hands in the air from time to time. Very suspicious. The little girl's delicate body trembled slightly and she hesitated whether to notify the security guard. "This." Li Chang'e looked back at Yulin. Yulin spread her hands, as if she had no intention of coming to help. As for Lao Pan. Yes, he is useless. No, 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 don't get me wrong, we are really not bad people, I am really a relative of the deceased. Li Chang'e firmly remembered Yulin's instructions not to say the names of the three deceased casually. When Li Chang'e quietly asked why, Yulin didn't say anything at that time, but silently made a cross on Li Chang'e's chest, closed her eyes and made a silent expression. This is a sign of coolness. Therefore, Li Chang'e kept this important matter deeply in his heart. The little nurse was shocked. Isn't this suspicious? She took 2 steps back behind the counter and took out a mini-button alarm from the pocket of her nurse uniform. You, don't come here. I'm warning you, you can't come in even if I say you can't come in. There are rules. No non-unit staff are allowed to enter the morgue without special circumstances. She looked around, tears welling up in her eyes. It hasn't fallen yet. At this time, when she was about to get off work, there was no one else around the corner of the counter. At least, no one else noticed her current embarrassing situation. If you come here again, I will notify the security guard, etc. Li Changa sighed. He shouted softly and stopped the little nurse's next move. Why bother? Why bother? The little nurse was stunned. Li Changa slowly took off his hat, mask, and sunglasses. I originally wanted to use my talent to get closer to you, but maybe I am not talented enough, or maybe my talent cannot surpass my appearance. Anyway, it's my fault. Li Changa smiled brightly. Hello, let's get to know each other again. My name is Li Changa. Wouldn't it be better to do this earlier? Yilin nodded calmly. You don't understand, Li Changa had already wrapped his head again at this moment, but his tone was slightly painful. If you are half as charming as me, I think you will understand my feelings better. How do you feel about being a scumbag? Old Pan answered abruptly. Li Changa. Yilin chuckled and said nothing more. The three of them quietly came to the morgue. Originally, according to the rules, family members of the deceased were not allowed to visit at this time unless there were special circumstances. But Li Changa is here, this is a special situation. Who makes the little nurse a fan of Li Changa? And she's the kind of fan who hangs photos beside her bed. Li Changa settled the matter with a signed photo. Li Changa regularly keeps hundreds of these handsome and striking autographed photos in his storage space in case of emergencies. This is not used at critical moments. It was quiet in the morgue. No one alive. After all, in this era, it is no longer popular to set up security guards at the entrance of the morgue, which is a waste of resources. If you are strong, why don't you patrol and maintain law and order? In short, after getting the access card from the nurse, there were no accidents along the way. Li Changa swallowed quietly. Gudong. A little loud. Yilin silently glanced at Li Changa, and suddenly another grave mound appeared behind him. The tomb of the handsome Li Changa. Pay attention to your emotions, your special effects are showing up again. I can't help myself, I can't help myself. Li Changa smiled coquettishly. He was constantly wandering between being a ghost and being a ghost. Now that I have come to such a gloomy place, I can't help but feel full of emotions. Lao Pan has nothing to do. Li Changa lingered at the door, not daring to move. Yilin didn't expect these two guys to be of any help. I found the corresponding freezing chamber by myself and pulled it out directly. The expression is quite peaceful. The moment Yilin pulled out of the freezing chamber, her perception spread and filled the entire morgue. Inside the freezing chamber was the body of a middle-aged man. Naked. Yilin checked it briefly. No special wounds were found. Although Yilin could not see the mother spirit behind Li Changa, she could faintly feel that there was no strange fluctuation coming from behind Li Changa. Okay. Let's go. It's consistent with Yilin's speculation. Leaving now, Li Changa was slightly startled. It had only been a few minutes, could it be done so quickly? Li Changa initially thought that Yilin would use more professional methods to examine the body. Otherwise, Yilin pushed the cryo container back into the distance. Do you still want to see me dismember the body for examination on the spot? Well, this seems a bit cruel. Before leaving, Yilin paused and said to Li Changa behind him, by the way, say his name again. Yilin pointed in the direction of the freezing cabin. You sure? Li Changa's eyes widened, a little suspicious. Just say what you say, hurry up, don't waste time, we have to go to the next 2 stops. Li Changa was frightened by Yilin at first. He didn't even dare to mention the name of the deceased. Now Yilin said that he would say that name in front of the deceased, which always made Li Changa feel that something was wrong. What do you want to do? But after hesitating for a moment, Li Chang'e decided to listen to Yilin's words. After all, besides Yilin, Li Chang'e didn't know who to rely on for this supernatural incident. Demon slaying Aji Pangenji? Forget it. Thinking of this, Li Chang'e whispered the name of the deceased. Huh, Yilin closed her eyes and felt it for a while, louder. Li Chang'e gritted his teeth and read it loudly again. I don't know if it's an illusion. He seemed to feel a chill coming from the direction of the freezing cabin. Oh, it turned out to be the air conditioner of the temperature control system. Mother Spirit. Yilin confirmed 3 times that there were no other abnormalities, then turned around and left. Okay, it's okay, let's go. Li Chang'e. 1940. The 6th Hospital of Hating City. At night. The weather is cool. Yilin swiped Li Chang'e's ID again and bought a cup of Uebuk hand-brewed coffee. By the way, I also gave Lao Pan a drink. I have to say, this tastes much better than the instant version. This is money ability. Somehow, Yilin suddenly thought of Bruce Wayne. After the previous experience, Li Chang'e did not hesitate and directly showed his identity as an international superstar. This time I faced a senior nurse who was about 40 years old. Unexpectedly, he was also a fan of Li Chang'e. He had to take an intimate photo of Li Chang'e before handing over the access card to the morgue. Holy shit, my character is completely ruined. Li Chang'e had a sad face, shaking his head and wailing as he walked. Yilin didn't pay much attention and went directly to the morgue and dragged out the cryo container. It is said that this is a young girl who committed suicide by taking an overdose of sleeping pills after a quarrel with her family. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but the time of death was also on September 7th, in the evening. Shortly after attending Li Chang'e's autograph signing event during the day. It seems that after experiencing it for the first time, once reborn and twice familiar, the gravehead special effects behind Li Chang'e finally did not appear. A lot calmer. He put his head closer. Oh. Li Chang'e made a sound of surprise. Yilin, what? Are you impressed? Li Chang'e nodded. I remembered that she asked me to sign an autograph that morning. She is the president of one of the clubs with a lot of registered fans. I thought she looked, well, anyway, I took a few glances at her, so it was a bit from the impression, she seemed to be in a bad mood that day. Lao Pan, haha, you can recognize it when you take it off. Li Chang'e, in short, it's a pity that he is so young. After speaking, Li Chang'e sighed silently. Yilin followed the old rules and spread her senses again, and did a simple check. There are no superficial wounds. After all, he is not a forensic doctor and cannot give professional judgment. But that's not the point of what Yilin wants. He asked Li Chang'e to read the name of the deceased again. This time, Li Chang'e did not shirk and read out the name of the second deceased person loudly. Mother Spirit. Yilin silently pushed the freezer back. Sorry to disturb you, please rest in peace. Li Chang'e seemed to be a little more depressed. It wasn't until he walked out of the hospital gate and Li Chang'e's shampoo advertisement suddenly played over Hating City that Li Chang'e finally felt better. Boss, what's going on? Li Chang'e finally couldn't help but ask. Yilin closed her eyes. These 2 locations are undoubtedly useless efforts. But at the beginning, Yilin felt that the most likely target was the last deceased person. First of all, the first deceased, a staff member of the film and television city, died of heart disease. But as we all know, only when an apostle dies in the other world will he reappear in the real world in the form of sudden cardiac death. The birth of a masterless spirit only occurs when the apostle with a spirit-possessed weapon dies in the real world, causing the spirit to go berserk and become a masterless spirit. Of course, because there are no absolutes in the world, and no one stipulates that an apostle will not die of heart disease in the real world. So to be on the safe side, Yilin decided to take a trip. As for the second deceased, although the cause of death was a strange suicide, judging from the reaction of the mother spirit pressing on Li Chang'e, it should not be the case. Yilin's move was, firstly, to be safe, and secondly, to test the reaction of the master spirit. After all, everything they do now is seen by the mother spirit. In other words, this level of behavior will not stimulate the mother spirit's emotions. It's hard to say what happens next. Yilin whispered to herself. The body of the third deceased was located at the Pudong District Police Station in Hating City. The cause of death was homicide. If there were no accidents, the last deceased person selected by Yilin was the former owner of the masterless spirit behind Li Chang'e. The reason why I saved the police station for last. It's also because the police station is also the most troublesome place. Should we use our identity as a special group? Yilin thought seriously for a while. After thinking for 3 minutes, Yilin decided to wait and see. If she encounters a troublesome policewoman like Gu Xinan again, Yilin will definitely reveal her identity as a special group. When Yilin came to the Pudong District Police Station in Hating City, suddenly, I noticed that the police station seemed a little quiet. The parking lot was also empty. Not even a police car was left. Wait. Yilin first asked Li Chang'e and Pan Zhenji to hide aside. He silently released Bai Xiaoai. This time, he did not use Bai Xiaoai's vision to peek behind Li Chang'e, so as not to irritate the mother spirit who seemed to be emotionally unstable. Bai Xiaoai pouted, as if she was unhappy with Yilin asking her to come out to work again. But he didn't dare to say anything, and quietly slipped into the police station with his little butt raised. After Bai Xiaoai entered the police station, Yilin switched to Bai Xiaoai's field of vision. The police station was empty. Yilin took the opportunity to check the location of the surveillance equipment. Bai Xiaoai's spirit body is almost transparent. Even if it passes directly under the camera, it probably won't leave any special images. On the surveillance screen, it's probably just a slight blur, and you wouldn't even notice it if you didn't look carefully. Moreover, Bai Xiaoai is floating in mid-air, making it easy to avoid the camera. Let Bai Xiaoai go around the police station. Yilin suddenly felt a little dumbfounded. Surprisingly, no one? To be precise, there were only 2 old policemen on night duty in the entire police station of Nyoda. Even the control room was empty. While paying attention to the consumption of spiritual energy, Yilin remotely instructed Bai Xiaoai to approach the 2 old police officers. Since the control room is strangely empty, Yilin chuckled and directly called for Lao Pan and Li Chang'e to follow. Wait, let's just break in like this. Li Chang'e's expression was a little hesitant. After all, Li Chang'e had not been an apostle for a long time, and his mentality had not completely changed for a while. Yilin looked at Li Chang'e expressionlessly. The other side. Lao Pan already took out Harry's best friend without saying a word. The metal rods shimmered coldly in the night sky. The handle is particularly thick and shiny. Boss, you have to cover me. Li Chang'e thought about it carefully and realized that even if he didn't get it, he had to get it. After all, Yilin took the risk to do such a thing in order to solve the supernatural incident on him. While he was a little scared, Li Chang'e couldn't help but feel a little moved deep in his heart. Then, the 3 of them quietly slipped into the police station. There was no one in the surveillance room anyway, so Yilin simply didn't bother to avoid the cameras and walked along the road to the 2 old policemen. At this time, the whispers of the 2 old policemen also reached the ears of Yilin and the others. I heard there were 2 more murders tonight. The superiors attach great importance to it. Not only our district, but other districts also sent people out. According to the forensic doctor, it may be the same person's technique. What the hell, serial murder? How long has it been since this kind of case happened in the city? Is that why the superiors pay attention to it? Last month, it was said that a serial murder case occurred in a small county called Qingcheng. That case has been analyzed by our bureau for a while. Haha. They probably won't have to sleep tonight. The director was called out of bed. Qingcheng. Li Chang'e glanced at Yilin quietly. Yilin's face was expressionless. Li Chang'e's heart skipped a beat. Etc. When I contacted Yilin before, he seemed to have accidentally said that he was coming from Qingcheng. Yilin hid behind the door. It seemed that the two old policemen pulled out their stools and were about to stand up. Oh, it's almost time for me to go back to the monitoring room and guard them. Otherwise, when they come back later, I'll be scolded by the captain again. You're so scared. Who dares to break into the police station after eating a bare-hearted leopard? Don't want to live anymore. Li Chang'e. Bai Xiaoi chuckled, walked directly through the wall, and got in. Ghost, ghost, ghost. Unexpectedly, a shrill scream filled with emotion came from inside. The moment Bai Xiaoi's spirit body appeared, Yilin spoke quickly directly through Bai Xiaoi's field of vision. Let the world feel pain from now on. Combox 2. Directly for the second time. 1 shot per person. Blinding, dizziness. Just. Pan Xiaozheng, be gentle. Bang, bang. While Li Chang'e was still slightly dazed, Yilin and Pan Xiaozheng rushed in and knocked the two policemen unconscious one by one. When Li Chang'e walked in, he found that Lao Pan had put away the metal rod. What the hell? Why are you so skilled in your movements? Li Chang'e was stunned. After putting Bai Xiaoi away, Yilin breathed a sigh of relief. Releasing the spirit body and firing 2 disaster-haunting shots in succession did consume a lot of spiritual energy. Consumed more than half. Next. Yilin groped around the two of them and found their access cards. The morgue is not a very confidential place, and the security level is not high. In a small place like Qingcheng, the morgue can be broken into by Xiao family guards, which is evident from this. Isn't there a safer way? Li Chang'e looked sad, looking at the two people's extremely skilled movements, and suddenly felt like they were on a pirate ship. Hee. After Yilin put away the access card, she couldn't help but smile. Yes, I am just afraid that you can't afford to wait. Li Chang'e. Yilin didn't explain much to Li Chang'e. In fact, Yilin was indeed able to legally and reasonably obtain authority to handle this abnormal incident through her status as a special group. But considering that the two veteran police officers may not recognize the special group ID, it would be too troublesome to report back and forth. Waste time. Moreover, the two old policemen just fainted. Even if they woke up tomorrow, combined with the Bai Xiaoi they saw before they fainted, they would probably only suspect that they fainted because of bumping into a ghost. If it doesn't work, just ask Zhao Yulong to ask someone to explain it afterwards. Before Yilin leaves, dispose of the remaining videos in the surveillance room so that no traces will be left. Furthermore, this matter is not inherently different from a crime. It's a special period and a special way of handling it. After all, Yilin is now using the special group method to deal with Li Chang'e's abnormality. Reasonable and legal. Nothing wrong with it? Huh. Yilin suddenly thought of it. If he still has the question mark scepter, maybe he can still leave a little puzzle. I've hidden everything in the puzzle, so you can happily find me. Ahem, Yilin usually doesn't do anything illegal. Unless you have to. The three of them quickly found the location of the morgue inside the Pudong District Police Station. 30 meters. 20 meters. 10 meters. The entrance to the morgue is in sight. Suddenly, Yilin's heart moved. In his perception, there was an empty void behind Li Chang'e. Suddenly there was a cold and sharp wave. Infinity Throne. Author, Bai Yi Xueshi. Chapter 135. 2100. Bingo. Really? Yilin's expression remained unchanged. Li Chang'e suddenly felt a chill on his back. I don't know if it's an illusion. He subconsciously touched the back of his neck. There were bursts of biting coldness between his fingertips. This made Li Chang'e seriously doubt whether he had inadvertently developed new special effects. So realistic. Lao Pan raised his eyebrows. His eyes opened slightly. After working hard all day, Lao Pan was a little sleepy. The temperature around him cooled down inexplicably. Old Pan silently took out Harley Quinn's best friend, put it on his shoulder, and stood aside. Yilin looked back at Li Chang'e. Li Chang'e frowned, with the face of an actor who didn't know how serious he was. Ignorance is bliss. Yilin barely had to switch the spirit's field of vision to see what kind of ferocious expression the mother spirit lying on Li Chang'e's back must have. Silently opened the apostle panel. Yilin took a look. What should we do now? The atmosphere in the morgue is indeed strange. Although Li Chang'e didn't know everything and was kept in the dark, he also vaguely felt that the atmosphere in this morgue seemed to be more atmospheric than the previous two morgues. It's like being on the set of a supernatural movie. Let Li Chang'e suppress his panic, otherwise the special effects behind him will pop up again. If special effects appeared in such a ghost place, his emotions would probably be out of control, and the special effects would never end. Yilin chuckled. Simply lean against the wall. Wait a minute. Li Chang'e. Unexpectedly, Yilin actually took out her phone and browsed the web silently. Lao Pan idly stroked the metal rod. It feels pretty good. When Yilin saw Lao Pan's movements, the corners of her mouth twitched slightly, and she took a few steps away from Lao Pan without leaving any trace. Li Chang'e was confused. But luckily Yilin didn't keep him waiting too long. 10 minutes later. With a calm expression, Yilin put away her phone and started taking the next step. Although he didn't know what would happen next, Lao Pan quickly straightened his back. Yilin found that name among the many freezing chambers. The name of the deceased. The surrounding air became increasingly cold and biting. Li Chang'e trembled all over. As Yilin made her next move, Li Chang'e couldn't help but touch the back of his head. He suddenly felt as if someone was behind him, kicking him on the back of the head. He didn't know why this illusion occurred. Yilin moved slowly and gently. Pulled out the freezing chamber of the third deceased. Hiss. In an instant. From behind Li Chang'e, a terrifying wave of fluctuations arose. In her perception, Yilin couldn't tell whether the terrible fluctuation was sadness, anger, or other unknown emotions. But almost at the same time that Yilin pulled out the cryogenic chamber, she directly pulled out Bai Xiaoai, the spirit in the blood jasmine. Bai Xiaoai changed her temper this time and had no objection at all. The moment he appeared, his expression froze slightly. Yilin maintained the position of pulling out the body's freezing chamber and switched to Bai Xiaoai's shared vision as quickly as possible. After changing the field of view. Under Yilin's gaze, behind Li Chang'e, a man in white clothes with black hair, his eyes as dark as ink, cold and dull, looked at Yilin silently. Let the world feel pain from now on. The words just fell. Bai Xiaoai's almost transparent spirit body trembled slightly without any trace. As for the female spirit behind Li Chang'e, her delicate body trembled, and the next second she started spinning circles on Li Chang'e's back. After a few seconds, the mother spirit came back to her senses, with boundless evil thoughts emanating from her black eyes. Combox 2. Combox 3. Tisk, can you please stop crying? Yilin pointed at the mother spirit on Li Chang'e's back, quite speechless. The scary-looking mother spirit squatted on Li Chang'e's back and started crying after eating a round of 3 disasters. This sudden change of painting style caught Yilin off guard. However, due to the language barrier, the mother spirit seemed to cry even more sadly and miserably when Yilin spoke. Spirit comes from the other world. In every trial in the world, the language that circulates may not be the same. But the apostle has a registered identity, so no matter which language it is, it can be automatically converted into the most familiar mother tongue. So in this world, there is no such thing as a language barrier. Only the mother spirit behind Li Changa became a lonely ghost because the previous apostle master died in the real world. Well, to be precise, it should be the lonely mother spirit. In short, this mother spirit has lost its identity as a registered spirit. Bai Xiaoi stood next to the mother spirit and patted her shoulder gently to express comfort and sincere sympathy. She knew that this feeling was unpleasant. What's more, the mother spirit directly ate Yilin's 3 consecutive shots when she was inexperienced. Simply heartless. Yilin put Bai Xiaoi away expressionlessly. Li Changa shrank his neck, his expression hard to describe. Although he couldn't see the mother spirit on his back, Bai Xiaoi was floating behind him. He could see it, and he didn't know that the female ghost who had hammered him over and over again in the Ghost Mist Mountain was lying on his back. Do something behind your back. Yilin didn't say anything, and Li Changa didn't dare to ask any more questions. But the biting cold illusion was inexplicably dispelled, making him feel a lot better. I don't know if it's an illusion. He always felt a faint cry of grievance coming from his ears. Well, it must be an illusion. Illusion. Yilin breathed a sigh of relief quietly. Although the mother spirit's reaction was a bit unexpected, it was still much better than Yilin's other filings. Yilin's worst case scenario is that Li Changa dies on the spot at the moment when the mother spirit breaks out, which is a bit regretful. Yilin was even ready to make a decisive move with Lao Pan. After all, he and Li Changa were not familiar enough to risk their lives for this guy. No matter what happens, just pay a silent tribute to Li Changa. Yilin allowed the mother spirit to continue moaning for the time being. After putting Bai Xiaoi away, Yilin's almost bottomed out spiritual energy finally slowly recovered. Yilin had already calculated the consumption of spiritual energy in advance. When he took a 10-minute break to browse the web, he not only browsed the news in Hating City, but more importantly, he restored his spiritual energy. It is safer to be able to use 3 consecutive disasters in one go. Although Lao Pan's account is half useless. But his attribute values did not decrease. He also felt that the eerie and cold atmosphere not long ago suddenly became a little strange. But Lao Pan also felt that there seemed to be no sense of crisis in the morgue, so he put Harry's good friend away and yawned. Okay, let's get down to business again. In fact, after Yilin found the former owner of the mother spirit, it was meaningless to see the corpse in the freezing chamber. As long as the identity of the apostle is known, the next step is to find the body of the possessed weapon left by the apostle during his lifetime, and this should be able to solve the matter. In principle, if you die in the other world, the possessed weapon will also disappear with the death of the apostle. But the apostle who died in the real world. But something is different. Once some of the apostle's relics are not recovered in time, it is very likely that they will undergo unpredictable changes and become in the real world abnormal. This is also one of the main business scopes of Special Group. Having said that, at this moment, Yilin thought of something else. Another piece of information obtained from the 2 Pudong district police officers. Hating City serial murder case. The previous owner of the mother spirit, as an apostle, would die, not surprising. After all, apostles are human beings, and there are always times when they are accidentally killed. But if this deceased person was one of the victims in a serial murder case, Yilin had to think about it. Someone is hunting the apostles? Or? Yilin's expression suddenly became more serious. While thinking, Yilin completely opened the freezing chamber. Click click click. In the freezing cabin, there lay a pale-faced girl with delicate features, but there seemed to be a trace of anger and unwillingness hidden in her brows. Of course, the emotion read in this expression may also be Yilin's own imagination. Body shape, average. But that's not important either. Yilin continued to observe the corpse. There was a long and narrow wound on the chest of the deceased, and the blood around the wound had long been cleaned up. The edge of the wound is sharp, and the murder weapon should be sword or knife. Right now, nobody knows. When Yilin saw this corpse with her own eyes, it seemed as if there was some existence in the dark, looking at the world through Yilin's eyes. Gazing at this dead apostle's body. Suddenly, just when Yilin closed her eyes and imagined the scene in which the young apostle was killed, the death mark on her chest suddenly became hot, like a branding iron, fiercely pressing on her chest. It hurts my heart. Etc. This is a call to trial? Yilin's face was twisted in pain and she was sweating profusely. Familiar pain, familiar feeling. But it's not a reasonable time. He clearly just came out of the other world. This unscientific. At the same time, Li Chang'e suddenly looked in pain. He covered his buttocks with both hands and rolled crazily on the ground, twitching at the same time. Lao Pan looked at the two of them with a strange expression. Yuren performed well. But Li Chang'e, what was he covering his butt? After a few seconds, a line of task prompts appeared in front of Yilin. This is a mission prompt that emerges from the real world. Compulsory real-life tasks are now released. Area, Tower of Death. Location, Hating City, Longguo. Mission restrictions, second level apostle. Difficulty, unknown. Realistic mission, completely eliminate the apostle, ID, and bring Zhang back to life. Time limit, 72 hours. Punishment for mission failure, 10,000 death points deducted when there are not enough death points, obliterate. Task reward, unknown, will be distributed based on the final task contribution. Yilin. Li Chang'e. Lao Pan. Hating City. Mandatory real-life mission? Don't come here. Yilin reacted in an instant, shrank her pupils, and shouted loudly, trying to stop Li Chang'e and Lao Pan. But when he turned around and saw Li Chang'e lying on the ground without any image, covering his chrysanthemum and sweating profusely, he suddenly came to his senses. Oh, it turns out that the location of Li Chang'e's death mark is there. Oh no, it should be, too late. This is a realistic task that cannot be refused. Li Chang'e climbed up from the ground with difficulty. That pain, no matter how many times it came, made Li Chang'e feel like his first brother and experience a different feeling. What's going on? Boss, this dash. Li Chang'e also received the strange series of mission prompts, with horror on his face. Here is reality. It's not the other world. But why? Will there be so-called mandatory real-life missions? This script is wrong. Director, I want to protest. I want to stop performing. Pity. No NG this time. Could it be? Yilin's expression was uncertain. Thinking about countermeasures, and the reasons for everything. Is it because of Li Chang'e? No, it's not that simple. Yilin also didn't expect that she originally just wanted to solve the supernatural incident that happened to Li Chang'e, but she didn't expect that she would unknowingly get involved in another even weirder whirlpool. Shut up, don't talk, don't move. Yilin did not answer Li Chang'e's question. 3 consecutive calls to calm Li Chang'e down. Li Chang'e. A countdown has appeared on the Apostle panel. 72 hours countdown. By the way, I silently glanced at the remaining death points. Death point, 5782. This is quite uncomfortable. This punishment of 10,000 death points may not seem like much, but it has just stuck on the life gate of the second level apostle. For the first level trial, the basic death point reward is only 1,000 points. When you clear the level, you may be able to obtain rewards ranging from 1000 to 1500 depending on the difficulty and evaluation. But no matter who it is, under normal circumstances, they want to obtain more than 10,000 death points at the second level. It's difficult. Unless, massacre the apostles and plunder the box opening rewards. Yulin opened the freezing chamber and checked the body over and over. One move kills. The chest that penetrates the heart is a fatal wound. Crush of strength. Or an assassin-type apostle like him. Li Chang'e covered his mouth and witnessed Yulin tossing the body over and over, his eyes widening. Beast. Yulin didn't know what Li Chang'e was thinking at the moment. After a thorough inspection, he put the body back to its original position, led the cryo chamber, pushed it back, and silently recited rest in peace in his heart. No matter who the deceased was before his death, it was wrong to disturb the rest of the deceased when Yulin did not know him. If he had a grudge against Yulin, that would be another matter. It might not be impossible to whip the corpse repeatedly. After Yulin finished looking back, he saw Li Chang'e staring straight at him with a strange look in his eyes. Yulin couldn't help but slowly typed a question mark. Late at night. Li Chang'e's villa. Agent Zhang Hanlu is already asleep. The three people left the Pudong District Police Station and quietly returned to the villa without alerting anyone. Before leaving, Yulin did not forget to eliminate all traces of their breaking into the police station. Anyway, nothing was lost at the police station, and the lives of the two veteran police officers were not in danger. Under the pressure of the serial murder case, the Pudong District Police Station should not find anything. Along the way, Yulin heard faint, almost non-stop sirens from everywhere. Serial killer homicide. Yulin smiled helplessly. It turned out to be just an ordinary supernatural event. It was just an ordinary mother spirit pressing on Li Chang'e's back. But it involves such a list of things. This matter will definitely be taken over by the special group in the end. No doubt. The three of them silently returned to Li Chang'e's room. After returning to the villa, Yulin's psychic energy has recovered most of it. After he casually summoned Bai Xiaoi happily floated around the room. Yulin hesitated for a moment and summoned Nai Hongxiu again. The moment the two spirits appeared in the room at the same time, Li Chang'e's expression changed drastically, and he suddenly remembered the fear left behind by that ghostly night in Wushan. I, Nai Hongxiu, have met the officials. The moment Nai Hongxiu appeared, the red clothes, white hair, and calm white eyes seemed to bring an indescribable etherealness to this space. After becoming a spirit, Nai Hongxiu no longer had the terrifying intimidation from ghosts, but instead had a bit more of an earthly aura. Li Chang'e originally thought that Yulin only accepted Bai Xiaoi, but he did not expect that even Nai Hongxiu would become Yulin's spirit. Boss, please take my knee off. After the shock, Li Chang'e hugged Yulin's thigh and shed tears of real envy. Yulin. Boss, you are the legendary mother and daughter, what kind of food are you doing? Roll. Bai Xiaoi. Nai Hongxiu. Yulin kicked Li Chang'e away. Although Nai Hongxiu was speechless, looking at her like that, Yulin seemed a little happy to be able to let her out for some air. She looked around sheepishly, looking at the world outside Giwu Mountain with some curiosity. Yulin glanced at Nai Hongxiu and felt a little guilty when she saw the corners of her mouth turned up slightly. It seems that after returning from Giwu Mountain, he rarely summoned Nai Hongxiu. But most of them are using Nai Hongxiu's form change spirit enchanting weapon ability. Well, let's talk about it later. Yulin did not dwell on this matter for too long. After all, twin souls summon spirits at the same time. This is double the happiness, no, it is double the consumption of spiritual energy. Yulin shared her vision with Bai Xiaoi. The mother spirit behind Li Chang'e seemed to be still crying. It's just that the shoulders don't seem to rise that much. From time to time, he secretly raised his head and looked at Yulin. In those dark eyes without whites, there was a hint of fear through the long hair that covered his face. The language barrier is quite troublesome. Yilin took one look and felt a headache. But the appearance of the mother spirit should not threaten Li Changa's life for the time being. At least not for the time being. As for whether Li Changa would be suppressed at night, this was not something Yilin was worried about. Anyway, you won't die if you press it, right? After confirming that the mother spirit behind Li Changa will not be troubled for the time being, Yilin also expressed his guess. Unexpectedly, when Li Changa heard that there was a female ghost pressing behind him, the special effects of the tomb and the sound of the suana almost broke out without reservation. What the hell? Boss, are you kidding me? There is a ghost behind me. Yilin corrected her seriously, it's a spirit. Li Changa silently raised his head. After taking a look at the disembodied Bai Xiao I and Nai Hongxiu floating in mid-air, the sound of the suana in their ears suddenly became more cheerful. Li Changa cried sadly, isn't that the same thing? This is really different. Yilin was helpless. In order to appease Li Changa's emotions and avoid being confused by the messy special effects, Yilin could only tell Li Changa in detail the little knowledge about spirits and ownerless spirits. After listening, Li Changa, dumbfounded. Is this how the spirit comes from? But after hearing what Yilin said, the existence of spirits was more like a projection of the other world in the real world, which made him less afraid. Human beings are always afraid of the unknown. But as soon as it was explained, that fear became worthless. Etc. After reacting, Li Changa couldn't help but frown. Then, what is the real-life mission that I just received? What does it have to do with this masterless spirit? And Li Changa pointed at Lao Pan, why doesn't he have nothing to do? I told you earlier that he was useless. Lao Pan. Right now. Yilin felt a slight vibration coming from the death mark. If you have any new information, please check it in time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, Bai Xueshi. Chapter 136. Yo. It's Zhao Yulong. Yilin looked at the flashing profile picture on the communication channel. Unexpectedly, Zhao Yulong's efficiency was quite high. But how could he know so quickly? Is he also in Hating City? That shouldn't be the case, right? As Yilin thought about it, she ignored Li Changa who was chirping at the side and opened the chat window with Zhao Yulong. Zhao Yulong, ahem. Yilin? Zhao Yulong, I'm just asking casually. Just ask casually. Don't take it to heart. You probably haven't read the forum, right? Yilin, I haven't watched it in the past 2 hours. What's wrong? Zhao Yulong, that's good. Hey, there are a few things going on these days, you know, the work of the special team, but the team leader has given it to others to handle. Although it's a bit sudden to tell you now, your level is not suitable for walking in this muddy water. Yilin, muddy water? Which trip? Zhao Yulong, something happened in Hating City. Forget it, I'll tell you later. You don't need to pay attention to it for now. If your level reaches. Yilin, I'm in Hating City. Zhao Yulong, well, that's good. Anyway, afterwards huh? Yilin, I'm in Hating City. Zhao Yulong, did you make a typo? Yilin, I'm in Hating City. Zhao Yulong, surprised. Toot toot. Voice calls between apostles. Beep. Got connected. Zhao Yulong's roar came across space through some supernatural power. What the hell? Why did your kid end up in Hating City? Yilin smiled bitterly, I originally just helped a guy, a friend, solve a small supernatural incident. Oh, the cake seller. Zhao Yulong seemed to cover his forehead and shouted this. Then. Have you received a mission? I'm talking about a real mission. Yilin said calmly, I got it. After thinking about it, Yilin added, I didn't expect that the tower could issue tasks in reality. This is quite sudden. What Yilin said was naturally false. This is just Yilin's rhetoric to Zhao Yulong. Zhao Yulong was silent for a moment, and then suddenly said in a mournful voice, It's over, I feel like I can't save my phone again. If anything happens to you, I guess dash. Yilin. Zhao Yulong, ahem, in short, you are in a very dangerous situation now. This mission is a bit weird. Yilin thought for a moment and nodded in agreement, I do feel a little weird. Yilin knew that there was a very small possibility that the tower would issue a real-life mission to the apostle. But in most cases, such weird real-life missions are issued when certain abnormalities in reality will cause great harm to existing human civilization or cause chaos. From this point of view, it seems that Ta is competing with the special group for food. However, there is still no clear explanation as to what the purpose of Tower is in releasing real-life tasks. If you want to protect humanity, it seems that the coming of the apocalypse cannot be explained. In short, Yilin felt that something was fishy. But for a while, he couldn't figure out why. Tower went to great lengths to issue real-life missions, just to kill an apostle named Zhang Huishan? While Yilin was thinking, Zhao Yulong sent another voice message. Since you have intervened in this matter, I will report it to the team leader later. At that time, after this abnormal incident is dealt with, it will be recorded on your performance. Performance. When these words came out of Zhao Yulong's mouth, I always felt that there was something strange. Zhao Yulong suddenly said quickly, Hey, wait. There is something wrong with this matter. What kind of supernatural event did you say your friend had? How could he be involved in this matter? Hear the words. Yilin recalled it. He should have met Zhao Yulong at a later point in time, and he was not sure how powerful Zhao Yulong was now. But for the special group, the existence of possessed weapons should not be a secret. So Yilin embellished it a little and explained briefly and concisely the fact that she accidentally discovered that Li Chang'e had an ownerless mother spirit on his back. Yilin hid the fact that she knew about the masterless spirit in advance. After all, under normal circumstances, based on his experience with Zhao Yulong's files, he shouldn't have known about the existence of the masterless spirit. The amount of information is a bit large. Zhao Yulong was silent for 3 full minutes. Then another voice message was sent. What the hell? The legendary ownerless spirit is actually on the back of the international superstar Li Chang'e? Wait, it's actually a mother spirit? Real name Envy, ahem, no, the matter is very serious. You probably don't know what a masterless spirit is. Barabara. Zhao Yulong explained the origin of the ownerless spirit in a lengthy manner. Yilin also cooperated and pretended to be suddenly enlightened. Well, alas, it's a bit troublesome now. After Zhao Yulong finished speaking, he couldn't help but let out a long sigh. You should check the forum first and then talk about the most popular post at the moment. Forum. Yilin closed the chat window. Then the forum was opened. The first thing that caught my eye was a post that was pinned to the highest position. The post was made by an anonymous apostle. Shock. Unknown spirit-possessed weapons suddenly appear in Hating City. It was just a simple title, but a large number of apostles responded to the post below. Pink and Cute Newbie ask, what is a spirit-possessed weapon? Are you a fan? Tender. No pictures, no truth. I suspect someone is driving upstairs, but I have no evidence. Holy shit, is this really fake? Spirit-possessed weapon, that is a more advanced weapon than an epic weapon, comparable to the Golden Legend. The spirit-possessed weapon is like a dragon-slaying sword in your hand, with one sword for 999 times. Ah. Phishing stickers, identification completed. Lan Zhou Xiaobing. Xiaobing add 1. Xiaobing add 2. Xiaobing add 3, please arrange your formation downstairs. I would rather believe that I have it than that I don't have it. At worst, I will waste my money on online tickets and treat it as a tourist. Pippy Shrimp, let's go. It is highly suspected that the author posted this to promote the development of tourism in Hating City. Those who sit back and wait to be fooled will suffer misfortune. Share cakes upstairs? Does the prosperity of Hating City still need apostles like us to promote it? Have you not woken up from your dream? What follows is still a bunch of useless responses. But at the end, someone suddenly replied anonymously. This is a trap. Trap? Trap? Second-level apostles must not come to Hating City. This is a realistic mission. Forced reality mission. Once it fails, obliterate. The anonymous apostle even posted the details of his mission. The dazzling word trap stung everyone's eyes. The word obliterate makes countless people tremble. It turns out, in reality, such a forcibly obliterated mission will be issued. Many people haven't even heard of realistic missions. Yilin closed the forum silently. Streamlined my thoughts. Generally understood. The last anonymous apostle to post a warning to others was posted half an hour ago. That is, shortly after Yilin came into contact with the Third Corps. Rushing to Hating City overnight. It is estimated that the apostle who posted the message was just filled with a big sigh of relief. This matter has really become very troublesome. Yilin is very aware of the urinary nature of the apostles. After this post was published, people who didn't believe it went crazy on the post, but the real apostle who would rather believe it had already boarded the underground shuttle bus silently heading to Hating City. If this is true, making a fortune silently is the way to go. There will be no water stickers coming out at all. He won't come out to clarify that this is a rumor. Of course, among the group of people who post fake posts, there are also some who deliberately post to confuse others in order to reduce competitors. Hee. Yilin suddenly couldn't help laughing again. When a group of apostles came to Hating City and suddenly and inexplicably received a mandatory real-life mission, only one person jumped out to post a warning to others. This is in sharp contrast to the number of apostles posted before. The meaning is actually very simple: I was tricked, so I kept silent to see if I could drag more people into the trap. The more, the better. Even an apostle with a little bit of brain would feel something is wrong with this kind of task. And, no matter what, if you just kill one apostle, the more people there are, the better. There is no doubt about it. Mentioned before, the relationship between the apostles was extremely complicated. It cannot be explained by simple hostility or companionship. Generally speaking, if there is no deep hatred, apostles will not kill each other in the real world. After all, the abilities among the apostles are many and complex, and various tools for turning the tables are endless. Without complete certainty or sufficient reasons, no apostle would provoke another apostle without any reason. Unless there is great certainty, coupled with interest disputes, it becomes even more difficult to say. No wonder Zhao Yulong would remind himself all night not to go to Hating City. Is this mission restricted to only second-level apostles? Why is that? Yilin lowered her head. Thinking silently. Think about it all. He knew very well that the power of the tower had limited impact on reality. There seems to be some rules to follow. Even the tower cannot kill any apostle at will without reason. Of course, tower has no wisdom or emotions, and generally speaking, it will not target any apostle who is displeased. Unless. Yilin finished browsing the forum. Contacted Zhao Yulong again. Voice calls between apostles. What? What do you think? Zhao Yulong said in a low voice. This matter is a bit complicated. It's very complicated. Moreover, this thing is very weird. Zhao Yulong said in a deep voice, let's not talk about the mother spirit on Li Changa's back. For some reason, Yilin always felt that Zhao Yulong's tone was a little weird when he talked about mother spirit. Only Zhao Yulong continued, let me tell you something first. In the real-life mission you received, I know who the apostle named Zhang Huishun is. Yilin was slightly startled when he heard this. But he didn't interrupt Zhao Yulong's words. This is obviously extremely important information. Zhang Huishun, female, 26 years old, is a young doctor at a central hospital in a certain city. Of course, because she has never committed any crime in the real world, nor encountered her in the other world, and has not revealed her identity at all, we did not know that she was an apostle before the incident. Yilin heard the hidden message in the words, before the accident. Zhao Yulong continued, on the morning of September 5th, she was found dead in her home. Because she lived alone, in the morning, her work unit found that she had not come to work and could not get through on the phone, so her friend asked her friend to go to Zhang Huishun's home to look for her. So it was almost noon when the body was discovered and sent to the morgue of the original unit. There were no wounds on the surface, and no strange traces were found at the place of death. It was initially determined that the cause of death was heart disease. Heart disease? That is to say. Haha, you should have guessed. Yes, my conclusion is that she probably died in the trial in the other world. Died. Yilin frowned. No words were spoken. What Zhao Yulong said next should be the focus. Zhao Yulong suddenly laughed, and his tone became a bit gloomy for no reason. You can't guess what happened next. Just that night, in the hospital where Zhang Huishun's body was located, a security guard died. The cause of death was, the cervical vertebrae were broken, and only one side of the neck was bruised. Someone had broken his neck with one hand. Yilin smiled slightly, why do I feel that you are telling a scary story? If I guess correctly, what you are going to say next, is that Zhang Huishun came back from the dead and killed the security guard, right? Zhao Yulong was shocked. He didn't expect Yilin to really guess the ending. Hey, his little story has been laid out for a long time. You guessed the ending so easily after hearing the beginning, which is a bit embarrassing, brother. How did you guess that? You still need to guess? You have already laid out the tone of your thriller story. Isn't the most terrifying ending Zhang Huishun coming back from the dead and killing people violently? What other ending could there be other than this? But even though Yilin had guessed this outcome, in fact, when he reasonably guessed the ending of this little story, he couldn't help but feel shocked. At the same time, many speculations emerged in my mind involuntarily. Apostles resurrected from the dead? Some kind of skill? Or is it some kind of prop that takes effect after death? Or is it someone else pretending to be Zhang Huishun? It wasn't actually Zhang Huishun who died at the beginning? Various possibilities were intertwined in Yilin's mind. Zhao Yulong was a little depressed, but he continued, after all, business was more important. Zhang Huishun didn't know why but didn't destroy the hospital's surveillance video. We pulled out all the videos afterwards and found that Zhang Huishun did get up from the freezing chamber on his own, then walked through the corridor and seemed to have a few words with the dead security guard, and then turned back and suddenly broke the security guard's neck. What happens next? Then it was gone. After Zhang Huishun killed the security guard, he left the hospital. By the way, you should know very well that the surveillance equipment has some blind spots. We never saw Zhang Huishun exposed on the camera again. Noodle. Yilin's eyes twitched slightly, but she didn't deny it. He is indeed very clear about the blind spots of surveillance equipment. And, not only that. Zhao Yulong's tone became a little heavier. After that night, we received reports of murders one after another from all over the country. We suspect that Zhang Huishun was hunting the apostles after his resurrection. Of course, Some homicide cases may appear to be normal on the surface, so no relevant data has been collected yet, but those whose bodies died in abnormal ways are all handled by our special team. The Z5 Council takes this matter very seriously. Although the methods of death in these murder cases are somewhat different, we have initially confirmed that at least 4 apostles died in Zhang Huishun's hands, and the route she took to hunt down the apostles. Yilin silently said the next words, hating city. That's right, if you add Li Changa's mother spirit, tisk tisk, ahem, in this case, it stands to reason that at least 5 apostles died in her hands. At least. In other words, there could be more. Anyway. Zhao Yulong put aside the distracting thoughts related to the mother spirit and became serious. This matter is very complicated, very complicated. If it is not handled well, it may cause a very serious accident. In the past 10 years, since the special group since its founding, such blatant and purposeless hunting of apostles has rarely occurred. If I guess correctly, there may be 2 reasons why the real-life mission is triggered. First, Zhang Huishun is still in Hating City. Second, as an apostle, you are in the city where Zhang Huishun is located, at close range. Touched the body of the deceased apostle. Of course, this is just my speculation. Anyway, since you have been forced to take over the task, you can't run away. Yilin remained silent. What Zhao Yulong said is the truth. Yilin is just a human, not a god. Even if everything was carefully considered, the supernatural incident that Li Changa encountered could not have been expected, but it happened to be one of the series of incidents. He was accidentally involved in this whirlpool. But what makes Yilin feel strange is this. In his memory, there was no such serious incident of hunting down the apostles in the trajectory of that future. Or, he had not yet become an apostle at that time, so he was not qualified to know? Has it been hidden? Yilin can no longer return to that future, and many speculations cannot be confirmed one by one. Now, the most important thing is to solve this incident. Oh, by the way, I'm still investigating this matter elsewhere, and I'll let you know immediately if there's any news. Also, a senior member of the special group has arrived in Hating City, and you should have a chance to meet him by then. After speaking, Zhao Yulong hurriedly cut off his voice. It seemed that he was really distressed by the apostle hunting incident. Originally, Yilin wanted Zhao Yulong to send over the surveillance video of Zhang Huishun in the hospital. Did not have time. Forget it, talk about it later. As for Zhang Huishun's information, the non-confidential parts should be searchable online. At the very least, the name, age, gender and photos can still be found. As for the others, they have probably been suppressed by the special group. Exceptions are all handled by a special group. After all, Zhang Huishun was a doctor in an official hospital before his death. There's still time left. 72 hours. Seems plenty. But it is not easy to find an apostle among the vast crowd of people in Hating City. At the very least, Yilin really wanted to hide, and he believed that few people could catch him out. Someone who can hunt down the apostles all the way to Hating City is definitely not easy to deal with. It begins with Zhang Huishun's resurrection from the dead. This matter is complicated. It won't be possible to figure it out in a short while. But what Yilin lacks most now is time. Moreover, if the guess is correct, the entire Hating City will become the first gathering of apostles that Yilin has witnessed since her rebirth. Headache. Yilin rubbed her temples and frowned. Li Changa saw that Yilin seemed to have finished her work and looked over eagerly. Li Changa was able to receive the mission. In other words, he had reached at least level 10, a second-level apostle. I suggest you read the forum first. Yilin chuckled. Li Changa was confused at first. Forum? What does the forum have to do with it? Well, I'm going. What the hell? Li Changa muttered and opened the forum to take a look. 1 minute later. Li Changa's face turned red at first, then gradually turned blue, and finally turned purple. Yo! Yilin smiled. The special effects behind Li Changa have actually changed. A crematorium. There are still cherry blossoms floating all around. Ah, it seems that Li Changa wants to be cremated amidst the cherry blossoms. After 30,000 words of preparation, this carefully designed reality chapter is finally on the right track. Don't forget to vote. If God had not given birth to him, Li Changa, he would have been forced to do it forever as long as the night. I hope that your grandfather's charm will continue to increase. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 137. The next day. Yilin did not rush to track down the whereabouts of Zhang Huishun overnight. After all, there must be something special about this guy who even Zhao Yulong couldn't find out immediately. Maybe Zhang Huishun has similar skills to Yilin and can hide in the vast crowd without being discovered. Li Changa came out of the room anxiously. Dark circles under eyes. Messy hairstyle. Sparse stubble. Huh. There is an inexplicable resemblance to the image of Lao Pan. Yilin slept peacefully for a night, but contrary to Li Changa, she had enough energy and energy. Lao Pan also walked out of the next door room. Raise your hands. After a moment of pause, he sighed dejectedly. It's still useless. Are you being suppressed by a ghost again? Yilin smiled at Li Changa. Li Changa's expression was a little complicated. The kind that is hard to describe in a word. Sudden. Li Changa remembered the hot post on the forum. Unable to help feeling sad, she hugged Yilin's thigh tightly. Boss. I don't want to die. Yilin was silent for a moment. But Lao Pan smiled disdainfully, just cut it off, Yangji. Li Changa. What Yilin was thinking about now was something else. In another timeline. Even after the apocalypse, although life was difficult, Li Changa still lived a happy life as the actor. This time, will he die? It's hard to say. After all, Yilin has changed the future trajectory of many people. Possible. However, even though Yilin thought so in her heart, she couldn't say it out loud. After all, this was about one of his biggest secrets. Except for Mo Mengmeng, no third person knew the secret. Rest assured. Seeing Li Changa downcast and crying, Yilin patted him on the shoulder and comforted him, he may not die. Li Changa. After breakfast. Seeing Li Changa's haggard look, Zhang Hanlu couldn't help but ask, Gag, what's the matter with you? Did you stay up late? Li Changa forced a smile, I had a bit of insomnia last night. Piaget. Lao Pan took a big bite of the sandwich and the sauce spurted out. Are you still on vacation today? Li Changa looked at the countdown. That countdown was like a life-threatening talisman. After a night's sleep, it was already less than 72 hours before the task was finally completed. 3 days at most. I'll take another 3 days off at most. In front of Zhang Han, Li Changa tried not to show too much panic. Zhang Hanlu was thoughtful and didn't ask any more questions. She just sighed and said, well, as you know, the entertainment industry is very competitive. If you don't appear in front of the public for too long, your popularity will plummet. I understand. Li Changa smiled slightly. Then I'll go back to the company later and post a few PR articles on the website, saying that you're sick and not feeling well. Maybe you can make some hot searches. Zhang Hanlu suddenly thought of a good idea, ate breakfast in a hurry, and left the villa happily. Yilin. Lao Pan, ka 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 ka. Li Changa, who had dark circles under his eyes and was calm, suddenly turned his head and said with a sad face, Boss, look dash. Yilin wiped her mouth clean. Eat and drink enough. Get down to business. First of all, you can ignore the actual tasks. Li Chang'e was slightly startled when he heard this, and slowly typed a question mark. If I guess correctly, there will only be more apostles attracted to hating city by the anonymous post on the forum this time, not less. In other words, one more you is not too many, and one less you is not too many. Li Chang'e suddenly understood. It seems, makes sense. Then, what should I do? Yilin smiled and said, next, I won't act with you. Li Chang'e, surprised. Old Pan. Yilin looked at Pan Xiaozhen with a calm expression. Lao Pan silently finished the food in his mouth and looked at Yilin for a moment. Then he nodded helplessly, you know, I have nothing but sticks now. Yilin chuckled, you're useless, I know. Lao Pan. It is precisely because you are disabled that I let you and Li Chang'e act together. After all, your weapon. Yilin suddenly remembered the properties of the stick, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, trying not to think about what he had witnessed with his own eyes in Gotham City. Listen carefully to everything related to sticks. The real task has nothing to do with you, and you don't have anything else to do anyway. Thinking about it, it seems so. Anyway, he has not found a way to restore his status as an apostle. Gotta find some entertainment. So Lao Pan agreed. Old Pan. When Li Chang'e heard this, he was moved and choked with tears. Lao Pan chuckled, he means that this matter has nothing to do with me, and I can run away if necessary. Li Chang'e. There's one more thing, it's very important. Yilin slowly raised his head, don't tell anyone that I have two spirits. Li Chang'e didn't think too deeply. He was still struggling with the issue of the hot post on the forum, so he just casually asked, so what? Will die. Li Chang'e was shocked when he heard this, will you die if you tell me? Yilin expressionlessly took out the blood jasmine, stared at Li Chang'e's neck and shook it, no, I said you will die. Li Chang'e. Yilin didn't continue joking. He carefully explained some things to the two of them. Li Chang'e nodded frequently. Old Pan smiled evilly. It is indeed inconvenient to move with the two of them. For Yilin, the mother spirit behind Li Chang'e does not need to be solved first. Li Chang'e only needs to work hard to save his own life before the real task is solved, and not to expose his identity as an apostle easily. The next step will be a little difficult. After Li Chang'e and Lao Pan left, Yilin left Li Chang'e's villa alone. This real-life mission is too tight. Only 72 hours. No, there are only about 62 hours left. Under normal circumstances, it would undoubtedly be like looking for a needle in a haystack to find an apostle who had deliberately hidden himself from the 30 million people in Hating City. Even harder than finding a needle in a haystack. Yilin rubbed her temples. A little pain. If I had known earlier, I would have allowed Li Chang'e to commit suicide instead of taking a trip into this muddy water. To be honest, Yilin regrets it now. He originally thought that as a reborn person, he had the advantage of predicting the future trajectory to some extent. But in fact, with the death of Henry Zhang, this timeline has gradually begun to deviate from its original trajectory. It is getting further and further away from Yilin's previous version. Is this the legendary butterfly effect? After all, Henry Zhang was a very important figure in the future, yet he was killed by Yilin so lightly. Even if you die, you will not let this world live in peace. Yilin was completely unaware that she silently threw the butterfly pot to poor classmate Xiao Yang. Etc. Yilin suddenly stopped. He thought of something. Something he was only now noticing. The weirdness of this realistic mission isn't just about the mission objectives. Just to kill an apostle. There's another bit of weirdness. It is impossible for a tower to issue a fatal mission. These are the rules of the other world summarized by Yilin. In other words, no matter how difficult this real-life mission seems, there must be a way to complete it. The time is limited. The apostle level is limited. We even limited the actual mission to Hating City. Yilin's eyes moved. If you think about it in reverse, the reason why that will issued this mission is because it can be sure that Zhang Huishan as the mission target will not leave Hating City within the mission limit. How is this done? The tower has no wisdom. There is only the will to enforce the rules. How can Ta be sure that Zhang Huishan, who is lurking in the dark, will stay in Hating City, which is about to be turbulent, and wait for a bunch of apostles to come to kill him? There is only one possibility. Task. That's right. The corners of Yilin's mouth turned up slightly. Yilin's thoughts gradually became clearer. It's like peeling off a cocoon. From countless intricate clues, part of the truth about this mission was gradually revealed. In other words, this real-life mission is actually similar to the main mission in the other world. This forced reality mission can be divided into two parties. To put it simply, it is the apostles who are on the side of the hunters, and the hunted, boss, Zhang Huishan. Zhang Huishan, who is on the other side of our opposition, most likely also received a realistic mission to oppose other apostles. The restriction is also, Hating City. Of course, between the hunter and the hunted, it is still unclear who is hunting whom. Just, if so. There was something Yilin didn't quite understand. What on earth did Zhang Huishan commit that would trigger such a real-life mission? Have you violated the rules of heaven? Or, Zhang Huishan's resurrection from the dead? Or the act of hunting the apostles? Broken some kind of rule? Anyway. Many of these clues are still shrouded in mystery for Yilin. Skull pain. However, Yilin finally had some clues. Even if it's just a little bit. But it's better than having no clue. Just when Yilin was walking and thinking. A junior high school student in school uniform. Male. A bit short. He seemed to be only 14 or 15 years old, with a well-behaved mushroom haircut, and walked past Yilin. Yilin didn't pay attention at first. But when that junior high school student walked by, that childish face flashed in Yilin's mind. He couldn't help but turn around slowly. That skull bag is quite trendy and retro at the same time. There are two lines of words written crookedly on it. If you love me, please love me deeply, if you don't love me, please walk away. Half a lollipop, so sweet that it's sad. There were mottled and cracked lip marks on those two lines of words. This taste is quite unique. Of course, the reason Yilin stopped and looked back was not because of that trendy yet retro love burial style school bag. When Yilin turned around, she found that the other party was turning his head and looking at Yilin with a smile. Add a friend. If Yilin remembers correctly, what Zhao Yulong said was senior apostle. Senior. A few minutes later. Yilin silently looked at the additional name on the communication list. Friends list add 1. Olele. In fact, when Yilin met Oulele, she already knew how he found her in the huge Hating City. But in order not to expose the fact that he was a reborn person, Yilin could only ask as usual. How did you know I was here? Secret. The chewing gum in Oulele's mouth blew a big bubble. Uncle Zhao asked me to come to you. Uncle Zhao? Well, Zhao Yulong. After thinking about it, in addition to being unmarried, that guy was worthy of the title Uncle Zhao, regardless of his age, wretched image, or tone of voice as a veteran driver. There is nothing wrong with it. I know. He told me that other team members would come to Hating City. I didn't expect. Huh, you didn't expect it to be a child like me. Oulele rolled his eyes, and then snorted, don't underestimate me. I'm not a child. If you want to find someone in Hating City, except for me, Oral, no one else in the special group can do it. Yilin. Oh, by the way. Olele added, the fight is up to you. Yilin shrugged, indicating that he understood. Only Yilin knew the profound meaning of what he just said. It's not that he didn't expect Zhao Yulong to send a child, but he didn't expect to send Oulele. But if you think about it carefully, Oulele's ability is very suitable for finding someone in Hating City. The premise is: know this person's appearance and information. Mentioned it before. Molly's hacking skills are just a hobby, not a profession. She is better at researching and inventing fields. In the hacker field, very few people know that this little kid in front of them, who seems a bit unconventional and pretends to be mature, is actually the #1 hacker hidden in the special group. In addition to his extremely superb hacking skills, he also possesses apostle skills that match his hacking skills. Particle invasion. This is the ability that future Oral himself accidentally announced. But Yilin is not sure about the specific skill attributes. Moreover, Oral will also upgrade this ability in the future, with other even weirder changes. Of course, Yilin doesn't know which version of Oral's skills are now. It's impossible to be clear. After all, the skills and enhancements of each apostle are the biggest secrets. The two came to the square. Oral happily ate the ice cream. Yiren sat on the other side of the bench. To those who don't know what's going on, it's clearly a peaceful scene of a big brother playing happily with his little brother. The countdown unknowingly passed by another hour. Yilin was not in a hurry and quietly watched Oral finish 3 balls of ice cream. Oulele took out a tissue from her bag and wiped her mouth, and suddenly looked at Yilin curiously. "You don't seem to be in a hurry." Yilin smiled. "You are not in a hurry, why should I be in a hurry?" Oulele shook his head. "I'm different from you. I'm only at the first level. I didn't receive the mission." Yilin. He. Oulele smiled again. "But don't worry, for the sake of you treating me to ice cream, I will go all out this time." When Yilin heard this, the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. "Without this ice cream, wouldn't you go all out?" This. Oulele began to think seriously. "Gilialo. Right now." A small rubber ball rolled to Yilin's feet. "Ball, ball, ball." Yilin raised her head and saw a little girl with 2 cute braids staggering towards the ball. This little girl looked strangely familiar to Yilin. But it was just familiar, and Yilin couldn't remember where she had seen it for a while. "Acridine, it's the big brother." The little girl walked up to Yilin, picked up the small ball, and when she raised her head, her innocent eyes showed an expression of surprise. Oral, who had just finished licking the ice cream next to him, saw his eyes lit up. "Big brother. Xiao 11. I'm Suzioxi. Why did big brother forget me?" Xiao 11 pouted and snarled in a sweet voice. Only then did Yilin remember that he seemed to have accidentally saved a little girl in a large shopping mall in Qingcheng when 9528 was causing a havoc in the mall. Xioxi. Yilin remembered it now and was a little surprised. "Why are you here?" "Xiao 11 is here to play. With Mom." Xiao 11 pointed behind her. "A slim and beautiful woman is walking towards here on high heels." Although it didn't matter now, Yilin was not willing to expose the original incident, so she whispered to Xiao 11, "Shhh, Big Brother is doing business, Xiao 11 should not tell Big Brother's affairs, okay?" Xiao 11 tilted her head and thought for a while. "Then when Big Brother finishes his work, will he come to play with Xiao 11? Meeting? Maybe." Yilin said silently. "Pull the hook." "Pull." Xiao 11 wants to lift it high. "It's very, very high." "Lift." Later. Yilin took advantage of Xiao 11's mother not noticing her and quickly pulled Oulele away from the place with a look of reluctance. Etc. Yilin glanced at Oulele. "You are so reluctant to give up? Is it okay to be underage?" After Yilin and Oulele left, the beautiful woman trotted all the way to Xiao 11's side, panting slightly. "Xiao 11, why are you running so fast? Mommy can hardly catch up." "Mom, I want to play ball." Okay, okay, mommy will play with you. Little Hope glanced at the direction Yilin and Oulele left. A few seconds later, he kicked the ball further away. Oulele reluctantly left. He didn't sigh silently until he couldn't see Xiao 11 anymore. Yilin finally couldn't help complaining, Lele, have you forgotten that you are not an adult yet? Don't call me Lele. My name is Oulele. Only then did Yilin remember that Oulele didn't seem to like the childish-sounding nickname Lele. And, Oulele glanced at Yilin with disdain, didn't anyone tell you that a man's goals must be long-term? Don't you know that one of the criteria for a successful man is to be able to reach the age of 30, when you were 18 years old, you married a lovely wife who was 18 years old. Yilin silently counted the time. In fact, he really wanted to say it. Wait until you live to be 30. Forget it. Oulele seemed to realize that this topic was inappropriate, so he changed the topic directly, for the sake of ice cream, let's get to work quickly. Which police station should I go to first? Pudong District Police Station, right, Oulele replied subconsciously at first, but he suddenly woke up and glanced at Yilin in surprise. How did you know I was going to the police station? Yilin chuckled. And there was no answer. Oulele thought about it and didn't care too much. The two of them did not delay, and walked as fast as possible towards the Pudong District Police Station that Yilin had just passed by not long ago. At the same time as Yilin and Oulele went to the Pudong District Police Station. On the C-13 Skyline train in Hating City. A tall, thin man with a somewhat frightened face. In his arms was a long, narrow, dark box. Hold tight. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 138. Pudong District Police Station. Yilin and Oulele came here. There was no delay. Yilin had just broken in with Li Chang'e and Lao Pan last night, so she was familiar with the place. By the way, Uncle Zhao said you came to Hating City a long time ago. Did you find anything? Oulele squatted in the corner of the Pudong District Police Station, rummaging around for something, and asked casually. Yilin thought for a while and then revealed the identity of the death apostle he had found. It turns out to be Li Chang'e. Oulele curled her lips and didn't show much surprise when she heard Li Chang'e's name. It seemed that she was not a fan of Li Chang'e. This is quite unlucky. Haha, that's quite unlucky. Sister Li, her level is not bad, but far away in the capital, except for the death list, there is nothing that can be found in other databases saved when the internet is disconnected. This is not a secret. Oh. Yes. Oulele finally found a relatively secret spare port for maintenance in the corner, and his eyes lit up. Yilin smiled. It is estimated that in the entire Dragon Kingdom, the only one who dares to despise Molly at the hacker level is this little devil in front of him. The maintenance port was locked with a complex password lock. Yilin did not move, and Oral covered the password lock keyboard with her hand. A few seconds later, a 9-digit password was entered on the password lock interface. Click. Opened. After Oulele easily opened the combination lock, she felt a little unhappy when she saw that Yilin's expression was calm and there seemed to be no surprise. But he didn't show it, thought for a while, and then said out of nowhere, I heard that you and Sister Li have a good relationship. Don't worry, Oulele, have no interest in old women. Old woman. When Yilin heard this, the corners of her eyes twitched slightly. Although for Oulele's age, it seems to be true. But if these words reached Molly's ears, Oral would probably be beaten half to death. Been beaten to death by Moren enemy. Yilin didn't bother to explain too much on this matter. The more you draw, the darker it gets. Business matters. After opening the port box, there is a large complex of circuits inside. Seeing this intricate line gave Yilin a headache. But after seeing Oulele staring at it for a while, he stretched out his hand and started tossing in the box. As expected, there is a specialization in the art. Yilin sighed silently for a while. After Olele figured out the complicated lines, he slowly stretched out his finger and pressed on one of the ports. Bang bang bang. There was a faint flash of electricity in Olele's fingers, and he closed his eyes as if he was checking something. When Yilin saw this, she didn't bother him. It seems that Olele has begun to use his special skills. Suddenly, Olele's eyes suddenly widened. His whole body was shaken. Problem occurs. Yilin. Fall, it fell. Without saying a word, Olele picked up her school bag and turned around to leave. Yilin saw that Olele's tone and expression didn't sound like he was joking, so he followed Olele. Something fell. Skitran C-13 fell off the route. When? Just. Yilin suddenly narrowed his eyes. Besides, what else did you see? In desperation, Olele didn't notice that there was something wrong with Yilin's wording. He ran a few steps, panting slightly, trying to use short words to describe what he saw. On the C-13 sky train, there was a man holding a black box, which was more than 1 meter long and 15 centimeters wide. Then the C-13 train shook and fell from the sky. Man. Box. Although Yilin's first reaction was that this matter may not be related to Zhang Huishan, in order to solve the case, she could not let go of any abnormality. Thinking of this, time was running out. Yilin did not ask any more questions, and said directly, the location. Olele. I mean the place where train C-13 crashed. Oh, it's not far from here, Zishan Road Financial and Commercial District, Pudong District. Call out. Yilin directly activated Run Fast and distanced herself from Olele in a few steps. Take the first step. Olele was so angry that she shouted behind Yilin, hey, I'm going, just wait for me. Of course Yilin didn't wait. In his impression, Olele, like him, belongs to a rare spiritual path. Strength and agility, that's hard to describe. Of course, although Yilin is also the main spiritual side route, after several strengthening, with the bonus of high clearance evaluation, Yilin's agility attribute has inexplicably increased to 4.4. It's even a bit higher than the agility attributes of many new agility side apostles. With the blessing of running fast, Yilin quickly left Oral, who was running out of breath, several blocks away. Zishan Road Financial and Commercial Street. Yilin opened the map while running. View the location of Financial Street. Some trouble. Hating City is an international metropolis with a population of nearly 30 million. If this sky train crashes into a densely populated and bustling commercial street, it will undoubtedly cause huge panic. And it's still broad daylight. An apostle? According to the apostle's behavior, in order to not disturb his normal life, the apostle rarely shows abnormal power in public. Is this sudden incident an accident? Or are there apostles involved? It is not difficult to guess that after the anonymous hot post appeared on the forum, there should be many apostles who would take the risk and come to Hating City even if they knew that it was most likely a trap or a rumor. After all, it was an extremely precious and ownerless spirit-possessed weapon. For many low-level apostles, even the existence of spirit-possessed weapons is unknown. While thinking, Yilin turned the corner and could already faintly hear the screams and panicked footsteps not far away. The dense crowd dispersed wildly in all directions. In the distance, a plume of black smoke rose into the sky accompanied by the light of the fire. Yilin has already activated Shadow Follower. Weave among the crowds. Although there are cameras watching this area. But Yilin's following her like a shadow showed nothing unusual under the camera. Yilin stepped into the financial street. A long black scratch, still radiating heat, stretched from Yilin's feet to the end of the crashed train. Preliminary judgment shows that after the C-13 train crashed from the route, It fell from the air into Financial Street and even slid on the ground for nearly 100 meters before finally hitting a building before stopping. Yulin didn't make any sound. Use the fastest speed to approach the train wreckage. The train wreckage has become the center of the heat wave. The closer Yulin gets, the more she feels a high temperature, accompanied by hot wind, blowing on her face. Human beings are creatures that seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. Except for special personnel like Yulin, other people who were not affected by the explosion had already fled the Financial Street in panic. Certainly. There will also be people who can't help but watch the excitement, take photos, and upload them to BBS. But not now. The accident had just happened and it was natural to save his life. Once their lives are saved and the fire is extinguished, some people will soon come to their senses and return to the scene of the crime to increase their presence, so that they can have more bragging rights in their circle of friends. Let's not mention the gossip for now. Yulin took out the blood jasmine silently. Thick smoke billowed all around. Even if there were cameras around, Yulin didn't panic. After all, this is what oral does. Many times, it is much easier to do things with Eulalie. Yulin could already faintly hear the sound of police sirens, ringing wildly from all directions. Fortunately, Eulalie discovered it in time, and Yulin became the first person to arrive at the scene. It saves a lot of trouble of dealing with ordinary police. Sudden. Yulin's pupils narrowed. In the midst of the blazing fire, a cold, long-haired figure stood proudly. Is it a woman? Zhang Huishan? But didn't Eulalie say he was a man? A man holding a black box? Or is it because Oral is inexperienced and can't tell the difference between men and women in a hurry? But at this moment, Yulin had no time to analyze the accuracy of Oral's information. Based on experience, Yulin can confirm that the person standing near the wreckage of the C-13 Skitran 100 meters away, with the blazing fire and black smoke as the background, is definitely a woman. No doubt. It's a woman with long black hair reaching her waist, and a long knife hanging on her waist. Long knife? Yulin's face was expressionless. He thought of the way the mother spirit's previous owner died. The knife penetrated the heart cleanly. He. The woman's back was turned to Yulin. In the firelight, Yulin's presence was not noticed. A 100% decrease in presence is not just a number. Yulin swallowed silently. Moisten the throat. This is preparation for Plan B. In his arms was an ordinary banana peel. Plan C. As he continued to approach the other party, Yulin subconsciously had one backup plan after another in his mind. Take a few more steps. Yulin took out another card. It was the cryogenic bomb that was obtained after killing Mr. Freeze in Gotham City, but was not used in the end. Plan D. Unconsciously, Yulin found that she had more and more choices and more trump cards. This is quite a headache. While Yulin was silently making hundreds of millions of plans, he had silently arrived behind the woman. The blood jasmine in the hand has been slowly raised. Because of the special characteristics of the star steel, even if the surrounding fire was blazing, the blood jasmine did not reflect any strange light. In an instant, Yulin suddenly felt strange. Could it be that the person in front of me is really Zhang Huishan? How could this mandatory real-life mission, which affects a large number of apostles, be so simple? Yulin glanced at the snow-white neck with faint flush. Thoughts are like electricity. The blood jasmine almost touched the snow-white skin. Is it really that simple? Maybe I'm just lucky? Yulin smiled. But suddenly, thinking of the word luck, Yulin stopped moving her hands. Etc. This back view. Seems like I've seen it somewhere. It looks a bit familiar. Although in just a few breaths, many thoughts went through Yulin's mind. But it had only been a few seconds since Yulin raised the knife. An apostle of the spiritual path, his thinking speed is much faster than that of ordinary people. The brunette raised her head. Suddenly, from the metal surface of the train wreckage in front of him, a figure was actually standing silently behind him. Hold the knife. The blade was close to his neck, only a few centimeters away. Urine. No wonder this back figure looks familiar. It turned out to be my Oda, who had a chance encounter in a Nigiri mountain. Why is she here? Although Yilin's sword did not drag down, it still stayed firmly at Oda Mai's neck. Did you blow up this car? Oda Mai shook her head slightly. Although she was being held by Yilin with a knife on her neck, her expression still showed no joy or sorrow. She was silent for a moment. He just uttered 3 words, I can chop. Chiang. Just when Yilin felt that this statement made sense, a bright sword light suddenly lit up beside Oda Mai. Draw your sword. The moment the sword flashed, the sword at Oda Mai's waist was unsheathed and directly blocked Yilin's blood jasmine. The blood jasmine was only a few centimeters away from Oda Mai's neck, but Oda Mai's sword was able to pass through the only gap from bottom to top in this situation without any hesitation, and cut Oda Mai's sword. Rin blocked the blood jasmine block. The speed and accuracy of the sword attack are simply astonishing. Ding! Yilin quickly retreated, and in an instant she was several meters away from Oda Mai. The right hand holding the knife was slightly numb. What a powerful force! But Yilin did not take action again. Fighting head-on with Mai Oda is not Yilin's style of fighting. Unless to expose some of your trump cards. Of course, there is no need to expose part of this trump card to Oda Mai. After all, in a Nigiri mountain, Oda Mai had seen Yilin use disaster haunting more than once to make the bosses spin around. Bai Xiaoi. Nai Hungziu. How will you be here? Yilin frowned slightly. But Oda Mai remained silent, silently sheathed her long sword, looked at Yilin calmly, and seemed to have no intention of fighting any more, so she turned and left. In fact, there is no reason. Wait, a mission. Oda Mai paused for a moment, and looking from Yilin's perspective, Oda Mai seemed to be nodding slightly, then quickly left the place. The sirens all around have become louder and louder. Yilin narrowed her eyes slightly. While thinking in his heart, he silently put away the blood jasmine. Oda Mai was also attracted to Kading City by that forum post. I remember that in a Nigiri mountain, Oda Mai's character was not the type of person to be interested in such things. Of course, Yilin's understanding of Oda Mai was limited to the trial at Inimiriyama, and he did not dare to say how deeply and thoroughly he understood her. Not deep or penetrating. This circle is too small. Compared with the population of the entire Dragon Kingdom, the circle of apostles is extremely small. Now, driven by the series of strange events, many apostles have gathered in Kading City. The circle is so small that it is not even comparable to some fan clubs. Forget it, let's get out of here first. Yilin remained calm, sent a message to Oulele, and then left. Originally, Yilin wanted to search the train wreckage again to see if she could find some traces. However, Yilin thought about it. Sooner or later, the special team would take over the matter, and there was no need to rush the search for the train wreckage. Soon, the rescue team and police will arrive at the accident scene. Although Yilin is already a member of the special group, she doesn't want to expose herself completely to the sun, so she can just let Oral handle it. From the looks of it, he also likes to be in the limelight. Really? When Olele finally arrived at the scene, the place was already in a mess. When people leave, the tea is cool. Near the financial street, after Yilin left quietly, a lot of people gathered around. It seemed that they wanted to show off their presence in the circle of friends before the news reported the matter. After the C-13 train crashed from the sky, it was discovered that the train was actually empty. It seemed that except for the mysterious man holding a black box, no one else was on the train at that time. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. Yilin also used telekinesis to search before leaving. There were no other living people in the train wreckage. Where did the man holding the box go? What is in the box he is holding in his hand? Could it be? Is the reason why Oda Mai appears here because she is here for that man, or is she passing by accidentally? From what Mai Oda said, the crash of the C-13 Sky train was not caused by her handiwork. But think about it. Oda Mai seems to be uninterested in anything other than wielding a sword. According to her method, she would rather cut the train in half with one knife than go to all the trouble to blow up the C-13 train from the sky. It seems that this incident may just be a fight between the apostles and may not be related to Zhang Huishun. After 1 hour. After Oleli dealt with everything in a sweat, he finally reunited with Yilin. Yilin happened to be sitting on a bench in the square, drinking handmade coffee comfortably. The hot kind. I want ice cream. The 3-ball kind. Oyulele spread her hands towards Yilin expressionlessly. You don't know how to buy it yourself. Pocket money is not enough, isn't it? Yilin thought for a while and ordered a takeaway. Soon, a chubby AI robot delivered the takeaway to the oral customer. Oyulele licked the ice cream ball and said vaguely, I showed my ID, and Uncle Zhao also said hello. The special team has been fully responsible for this matter. But Oyulele's eyes flashed slightly. Uncle Zhao also said that this matter must be resolved as soon as possible. If too many apostles gather in one city, it is likely to develop into a large-scale abnormality that cannot be concealed. Incident, and by then. Yilin smiled and said, did you deduct your pocket money? Oyulele nodded, then shook his head, it has nothing to do with pocket money. Although it has a little to do with it, in short, the crash of train C-13 has been initially determined to be an accident. There is currently a shortage of manpower, and the special team estimates that field teams and rescue teams will be dispatched. Yilin thought for a while, where are the other team members? Yilin is not too clear about the present members of the special group. They are all busy. However, Uncle Zhao is afraid that this matter will not be dealt with, and he may come to Hading City after finishing the matter at hand. Zhao Yulong will come too? Yilin was not too surprised. After all, from the current point of view, the abnormality in Hading City is gradually beginning to develop into an uncontrollable situation. Time is getting tighter. But the center of the whole thing, Zhang Huishun, is still missing. Just when Yilin was drinking handmade coffee and Oral was licking the ice cream ball, the death mark on Yilin's chest shook slightly. You have new news, please check it in time. Yilin opened it and took a look. Shocking avatar. This actually surprised Yilin. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 139. It turned out to be Li Erpang's classmate whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Well. In fact, it didn't take long. After all, Yilin had just returned from a trip to Gotham City, a city with simple folk customs. With doubts, Yilin connected the communication with Li Erpang. Voice calls. This time the fat man seemed a little anxious and did not send a text message or voice message. All in all, quite impatient. Once the voice call is connected, the fat man on the other end asked furtively and in a low voice, you must never tell me that you are in Hading City now, right? How do you know? It's really you. Li Erpang shouted F***ck, seemed to tremble, and was so frightened that he lowered his voice again. Really? Yilin was confused. What does it mean? Yilin thought about it carefully and realized that he did not appear in public in a very high-profile manner. When approaching the wreckage of the C-13 Sky train, I also followed him closely. Could it be that it was such a coincidence that Li Erpang saw him? etc. Yilin reacted instantly. Are you also in Hating City? Nonsense, I am a local with a registered permanent residence in Hating City. If I'm not in Hating City, who is? Yilin thought about it carefully. In this way, Li Erpang should have been promoted to the second level. In other words, well, poor fat man. Got involved inexplicably. Don't interrupt, why are you so brave? Damn it. Isn't it just a spirit-possessed weapon, although I'm also very greedy, fatty, but you actually blew up the C-13 train? Hee hee, but that's not important. Have you got the spirit-possessed weapon? When Yilin heard this, the fog in front of her head became even thicker. Li Erpang obviously speaks the same language as him, but why can't Yilin understand a word? Even to be cautious, Yilin silently glanced at the apostle panel. See if you accidentally got some brain-dead debuff with functions similar to NT-046. Causes intelligence. Fortunately, it didn't. It seems that there is something wrong with Li Erpang's language organization level. Wait, who told you that I blew up the C-13 train? And the Sky train just crashed, not exploded, understand? Huh? Not you. I don't believe it. We are so familiar with each other. We are life and death friends. Hee hee, there is nothing we can't say. Li Erpang said, don't come here, don't fool me, fat man. I'm investigating this matter, but I didn't blow up the car. Not me. It's really not you. Yilin was speechless. Why do you think it was me who blew it up? Li Erpang said matter-of-factly, nonsense, don't you like to blow up this and that the most? Yilin slowly asked a question, who told you that I like to explode everywhere? Gotham City. Anyway, I don't believe it, the evidence. Yilin was a little annoyed by Li Erpang's repeated questions, so she could only say, I am a member of the special group. The moment Li Erpang heard Yilin reveal the identity of the special group, he immediately fell silent. Although the existence of special groups is not known to ordinary people. But within apostolic circles, it is not a secret. Even in the forum, after the matter began to ferment, Zhao Yulong used his vest in the forum to directly tell all the apostles that the special group had intervened in the matter. This actually suppressed many apostles who were ready to go to Hating City to swim in the muddy waters. Li Erpang was silent for a full minute. Then he said quickly, sorry. I'm sorry to bother you. Goodbye. Toot toot. The call is hung up. This is inexplicable. But soon. Li Erpang sent another voice call. You're not going to expose my identity, are you? My identity as an apostle hasn't been recorded in the special group files yet. Yilin suddenly remembered Li Erpang's ability. Then smiled. Then he replied, yes, I will definitely do it next time. Li Erpang. 15 minutes later. Lele was playing with her phone idly. Really? In the news broadcast, the C-13 train crash was characterized as an accident. Lele nodded with satisfaction. Fortunately, the train only damaged a lot of flowers and plants and did not cause too many casualties. Orala also handled the relevant surveillance videos easily, perfectly. He is very satisfied with his mature and steady way of doing things. Who in the group will dare to treat him like a child in the future? Lele has long since become a mature adult. Right now, a muscular man wearing a retro-peaked cap, sunglasses and a mask looked around cautiously and furtively, and quickly approached Yilin and Lele. Lele said with a straight face, is this the flexible fat man you are talking about? Where is the fat here? Yilin judged it for a few seconds, well, I'm 90% sure. If he takes off his sunglasses and squints his eyes so hard that he can't see his eyeballs, I can be 100% sure. Li Erpang was still approaching. Yilin shouted loudly, Pang Li Er. When Li Erpang heard this, he was so frightened that he suddenly stood up a little taller. He quickly looked around and around to see if he saw the figure in his imagination, and then he slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Damn! Can you stop shouting Fatty's name so loudly? Li Erpang walked up to Yilin, took off his sunglasses, and gave Yilin a hard look. Olele raised her voice, "Oh, I really can't see my eyes. Yilin, if you want to glare at me, please open your eyes wider." Li Erpang. He could only silently put on his sunglasses again. Why are there no tears in my eyes? Because I squeezed back my tears by squinting my eyes. Yilin looked up and down Li Erpang's appearance and couldn't help but ask, why did you wrap yourself up like this? You are not a star. It is understandable that Li Chang'e is wrapped up like this. Don't worry about me. Li Erpang seemed a little uncomfortable. Wait a minute, how did you recognize me? Guess. Although Li Erpang had burned all his body fat and used his last trump card in Gotham City, after not seeing each other for a while, Li Erpang seemed to have started to gain weight again, and his belly had begun to show some signs of size. Good eyesight. Li Erpang gave a thumbs up. Yilin understood something instantly. Don't worry, others may not be able to recognize you dressed like this. It's okay if you don't recognize it, it's okay if you don't recognize it. Yilin's words actually made Li Erpang very happy. Suzayasu. Li Erpang, who had just relaxed, suddenly became furious when he heard Yilin mention this name. You, how do you know? Haha, I'm still guessing. I guess only Suzayasu can let you hide like this. Yilin remembered that at the end of Gotham City, when the world was frozen and everything was silent, Suzayasu told Li Erpang that she would come to find Li Erpang. Tisk tisk. I didn't expect this fate to come so quickly, so unexpectedly, and without any precautions. Xiao xiao xiao, what a little girl. That's obviously Brother Su, okay. Who can resist it? She goes to whomever she likes, so don't mess with me. Fatty can't afford it, and he can't stand it either. Get up. As if thinking of Suzayasu's majestic posture in Gotham City, Li Erpang shuddered inexplicably. Yilin's expression suddenly turned serious, and she stopped joking with Li Erpang, although I am quite happy to see you out of singlehood. Li Erpang. But in this situation, I suggest you send a message to Suzayasu and don't step into Hating City under any circumstances. Li Erpang sighed and raised his head. That is the sadness of looking up at the sky at 45 degrees. Late. She arrived in Hating City last week. Otherwise, do you think I need to hide like this? This. It is indeed love. No doubt. Yilin could only observe 3 seconds of silence for classmate Li Erpang. Li Erpang looked at Yilin with resentment. Although Yilin couldn't see Fatty's eyes. Although he inexplicably provoked Brother Su, it was all his own fault. Who allowed him to hit Brother Su's well-developed gluteus maximus? Who told him to have the same weight as Brother Su? Having said that, after Li Erpang returned from his trip to Gotham, he thought carefully about Yilin's last words. I always feel something is wrong. I thank you. And although Li Erpang became an apostle not long ago, he also knew about the existence of the special group. Originally, he planned to be a little fat man silently, not to cause trouble, not to mess around with women, not to attract bees and butterflies, and to just be a transparent person who climbs towers in peace. Although as long as the apostles do not interfere with the order of the real world, the general special group will not interfere too much in the disputes between the apostles. But as long as you put your name on the special group's file, if in the future, if you want to commit something, you won't be able to hide your identity, and professionals will come to your door and deal with it in a very short period of time. Therefore, when Li Erpang learned about Yilin's identity as a member of the special group, he instantly felt extremely pained. I feel like I've been tricked by Yilin again. Etc. Why again? All in all, this is quite uncomfortable. At this time, Li Erpang turned his attention to Oulele. I couldn't help but be surprised. Huh? Doesn't the special forces even spare child labor now? Oulele showed no sign of weakness. Do people nowadays dare to speak without opening their eyes? Haha. You're still pretty arrogant? Hee, except for his eyes, everything about Fatty has nothing to do with the word little, you little brat. You dare to call me a brat? I, Olele, am not a brat. Believe it or not, I took it out. Huh, Li-er raised his eyebrows and puffed up his belly. Oulele suddenly turned towards Yilin. Do you think I can add a sentence to his file? Extremely dangerous person, can be killed on the spot if necessary. Li Erpang. Yilin. Yilin was helpless. After a brief introduction, Yilin briefly told Li Erpang the ins and outs of Zhang Huishun. After all, Li Erpang was also at the center of the whirlpool, so it didn't hurt to tell him part of the truth. Of course, Yilin hid the mother spirit on Li Changa's back. Oulele seemed to be aware of Yilin's plan and remained silent about the mother spirit behind Li Changa. This does not mean that Yilin intends to drag Li Erpang into the water. Originally, Li Erpang was already submerged in the water, so there was no question of whether to pull him into the water or not. In addition, the two had a simple exchange in Gotham City, and Yilin also knew that Li Erpang was quite capable. Yilin also needed help in this weird real-life mission. After all, Lao Pan is dead, and Li Changa probably won't be able to help much. In this huge hating city, it would really be a headache for Yilin to find Zhang Huishun by himself. What the hell? So evil. When the Erpang classmate heard that Zhang Huishun had come back from the dead in the morgue, his stomach trembled with shock. Is that Zhang Huishun a human or a ghost? How can he still survive after dying in the other world? Yilin shook his head. It may not be that kind of thing. After all, there are no ghosts in this world. One of Yilin's guesses is whether Zhang Huishun is similar to Pan Zhenji, but actually has two personalities. Or a certain skill. Or some props. In short, everything is still confusing. Yilin has never encountered this kind of thing in the future, and he has no experience. Then what do we do now? After Li Erpang calmed down a little, he couldn't help but ask. Yilin's performance in Gotham City indeed left a deep memory for Li Erpang. Yilin seems to be better at this kind of tricking people with their brains. Apostles of strength like him are accustomed to using muscles to penetrate everything without thinking. Yilin lowered her head and thought. What to do? In fact, when he met Li Erpang, he vaguely had an idea. This idea is related to his previous guess. If Yilin and others' mission is to kill Zhang Huishun, so as Zhang Huishun, who is on the opposite side, what will be her mission? If I'm not wrong. When Yilin raised her head again, a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth that made classmate Li Erpang feel familiar and painful. The words are divided into two parts. Hating City. Zikan District. Li Changa shrank his neck. I always feel a chill on my back. Li Changa has always felt this way since he knew there was a female spirit lying on his back. He couldn't tell whether it was really cool or a psychological illusion. After all, Yilin refused to tell him what the female spirit on her back looked like. If she was pretty, maybe Li Changa would feel better. Moreover, Li Changa didn't know if it was because he was suspicious and sensitive. Even though he was tightly wrapped and walking on the road, he always felt strange glances coming towards him from time to time. In normal times, Li Changa would even be a little complacent, saying that no matter how tightly he wrapped himself, a mere disguise could not conceal his peerless elegance. It's a pity that we are in this situation now. Li Changa only thought about whether there were other apostles secretly targeting his life. Yo! Lao Pan suddenly squatted down, raised his palms with a solemn expression, and looked into the void. Li Changa. It turns out those weird eyes are looking at you, Hunden. Brother Pan, you can understand human speech now, can't you behave a little more normally? Li Changa whispered in a tone that said he hated iron. You forgot, Yulin said that we should keep a low profile. Oh. Old Pan stood up straight as expected, but said lazily, what are you afraid of? It's not me who died anyway. Li Changa. Boss Yulin. I strongly demand a replacement. Substitute. Yulin actually gave Li Changa only 2 tasks. The first task is to find the body of the possessed weapon. Yulin speculated that the reason why he was haunted by the mother spirit was most likely because the previous owner, the third deceased they went to check, had the mother spirit follow Li Changa for some purpose. Therefore, after the death of the apostle, the mother spirit still carried out the last orders of the former master before his death and lay on Li Changa's back. I even pressed it from time to time in the middle of the night. And the second possibility is, Li Changa accidentally came into contact with the body of the spirit-possessed weapon. That's why this supernatural incident happened. In other words, what Li Changa has to do now is to try to recall everything he came into contact with on September 7 that might be a spirit-possessed weapon. As long as the weapon itself is found, the mother spirit might be able to return to the possessed weapon. At that time, it would be none of Li Changa's business how to deal with the spirit-possessed weapons. And the second task. Low profile. Nowadays, there is a turbulent undercurrent in Hating City. Li Changa must not reveal his identity as an apostle to anyone else. And the matter of being entangled by the mother spirit. Otherwise, no matter what happens, it is very likely to make Li Changa feel cold instantly. Although Pan Zhenji was with him, it was obvious that Lao Pan was unreliable. The only person he can truly rely on is Li Changa himself. Thinking of this, Li Changa sighed silently. I quickly cheered up again. Roll over. Li Changa. After Li Changa encouraged himself, he began to think silently. On September 7, apart from contact with enthusiastic fans, he did not come across anything similar to a weapon. On the contrary, when filming in the film and television city, I used a lot of props from the film and television city. Wait, could it be that we are in the movie city? Li Changa suddenly found that he had fallen into a misunderstanding. Although it is confirmed that the identity of the former owner of the mother spirit is one of the fan groups, her weapons may not have come into contact with her during the fan signing event. It is very possible that, the fan admired her and mixed the spirit-possessed weapons with the props of the movie studio among. Damn it! Li Changa slapped his thigh hard. Li Changa, am so smart. There is only one truth. Pippy shrimp, ah no, Lao Pan, let's go. Li Changa didn't dare to stay, so he took Lao Pan and rushed towards Hating City Film and Television City. Li Changa and Pan Xiaozheng left in a hurry. Unexpectedly, among the bustling crowd, there was one gaze that looked particularly sharp. After 1 hour, nothing happened in the meantime. All the apostles who were silently lurking in Hating City seemed to have hid themselves unanimously after learning that the special group had sent people to intervene in the matter. The aftermath of the C-13 train crash incident was quickly suppressed because it was handled promptly and did not cause too many casualties. It's not even on trending searches. This fact made many people who witnessed the accident feel puzzled. This shouldn't be right. On the other side, Yilin has already made a preliminary plan. The first key to this plan. He is the latest classmate Li Erpang to join the team. But at this moment, Li Erpang was crying, gnawing on fried chicken legs full of calories while crying. Are you sure you want me to come? Yilin patted classmate Li Erpang on the shoulder, you are rough-skinned and thick-skinned. If you don't go with me, who will you go with? Just think of it as a candid role in a team battle. Yes, 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 but... Li Erpang was about to cry but looked at his belly that had just had time to bulge out. I swallowed the second half of the sentence. Not enough fat. Unspoken. Talking too much would reveal the secret of his skills. Li Erpang had no idea, but Yilin had already guessed the effects of his skills. Yilin narrowed her eyes and smiled, go. Hating City needs you. Li Erpang thought about it seriously, and it seemed that he had no other choice but to follow Yilin's plan. So does he. Wearing a countdown timer. The death points are not enough. Unless. Once the countdown ends and his death point is negative, he will also die. Just when Li Erpang finally made up his mind. However, Yilin suddenly received news from Li Chang'e. Huh? There's been a lot of news these past 2 days. But Yilin did not ignore Li Chang'e. There was only one brief sentence in the message. Boss. Something happened again. It feels like Li 1999 has become the first leader besides my wife. Throw flowers. If you owe me more, I owe you first. Also thank you to everyone for your support. Every comment, every vote, every N monthly votes. I am very touched today. Acridine. Infinity Throne. Author, by Yi Shueshi. Chapter 140. Half an hour ago. Li Chang'e and Lao Panxiang came to Hating City Film and Television City with high spirits. As soon as you step into the film and television city, Li Chang'e instantly felt proud. Of course, this pleasure is not due to returning to the old place. It's because, after he, Li Chang'e, had been holding it in for a long time, he could finally get rid of his hypocrisy and reveal his most authentic and peerless elegance to the public again. I'm wronged. My face. Li Chang'e touched his slippery face, his expression was blurred and his eyes were deep. Xioj, aren't you on vacation? Why did you come back? As soon as Li Chang'e entered the set, a middle-aged man smiled and said to Li Chang'e. Haha, come home often, come home often, come home often. Li Chang'e smiled slightly and didn't explain much. He just waved his hand, as if an emperor was on a patrol. The middle-aged man seemed to be used to Li Chang'e's demeanor, so he smiled and said nothing more. By the way, the director happens to be here too. Huh? Didn't I take a vacation? What else is the director doing? Working overtime? Li Chang'e asked strangely. Hey, are you filming the scenes without your lens? There are still a few scenes where we don't see your face. The director said that he is going to use a stand-in, and he will just record your dubbing later. By the way, for the next few scenes where you are going to show your face, the director is also going to ask a stand-in to record it for you. He will then re-record your face later and just do a little synthesis. It's very simple and only takes a few minutes. Just have a good rest. When Li Chang'e heard this, he immediately became angry, furious. Call out. Li Chang'e's bangs were slightly raised due to the special effects skills, and they were curled up without any wind. How can this be done? Isn't this bad? Let alone my profile, do you think any substitute can replace my back? Impossible, I don't believe it, this is absolutely impossible. The middle-aged man was slightly startled when he saw Li Chang'e's raised bangs. Where does the wind come from? But he didn't think too much, so he waved his hand and explained, it's just a commercial film, that's about it. Xioj, why are you so serious? Don't forget, you are a hot and popular star, and you can pay for the movie by showing your face. There are so many crazy fans. Before the middle-aged man finished speaking, Li Chang'e shook his head and interrupted him. No. Li Chang'e rarely showed a serious expression, I am an actor. No, I have to find a director. After Li Chang'e finished speaking, he ignored the confused middle-aged man and rushed into the studio in a hurry. Lao Pan followed Li Chang'e silently. I thought about it for a long time. Finally, I can sum up Li Chang'e's behavior in a concise way, It's a pretense. Li Chang'e. After entering the studio. Sure enough, a stand-in wearing Li Chang'e's costume showed his side face happily. When Li Chang'e saw it, his face instantly darkened. But still personable. Unparalleled elegance. Director, I resist. Oh. It's Xioj. I heard from Sister Lu that you are not feeling well and are on sick leave. When will you come back to catch up on the show? You don't know that during your absence, the group of editors were completely exhausted. They are clamoring for a salary increase. Li Chang'e opened his mouth. What was he trying to protest just now? Ah. That's right. You continue to act, don't worry about me for now, remember to match your mouth shape is very important. The director shouted at the stand-in who was working hard on the back, and then pulled Li Chang'e to chat. Li Chang'e would be dizzy from being talked about for a while, so Lao Pan kicked Li Chang'e expressionlessly. Yes, director, I want to see those. Only then did Li Chang'e think of business. He came here to find the body of the possessed weapon. As soon as I thought about this, a chill started to creep up on the back of my neck. I don't know what the mother spirit behind her is doing. You can't just sit on his head and peep, right? Li Chang'e was only halfway through his words. But the director suddenly understood and saw through everything. Oh. You mean your fans, right? Xioj, don't worry. Your manager, Sister Lu, is a sensible person. As soon as she sent out the news that you were sick, many fan groups immediately sent you messages. Kind regards. Oh, by the way, just now, a fan gift was sent here. I scanned it and it seems to be a doll inside. We didn't open it either. I'm afraid it belongs to some fans, hee, I'll give it to you now. Bring here. The enthusiastic director didn't wait for Li Chang'e to say more, then he stood up from the director's chair and went backstage to get Li Chang'e a mysterious little gift from an enthusiastic fan. A gift from an enthusiastic fan. Baby. So exciting? How many dolls are there? Is it realistic? Li Chang'e was stunned for a while, and was suddenly interrupted by this, and almost forgot about the main business again. However, the director was already far away and there was nothing he could do to stop him. Li Chang'e simply waited patiently. The kind that is gentle and calm. Lao Pan stared at Li Chang'e silently. Not much was said. But deep down in his heart, he silently labeled Li Chang'e with two words. Abnormal? Because Li Chang'e's expression was so indifferent, Lao Pan suddenly felt unconfident, so there was an additional question mark. Certainly. If it were another Pangenji. There is no doubt that the question mark will be removed with great confidence. The director was there for a full 15 minutes. So big. So lifelike. Li Chang'e couldn't help but look forward to it. Only a little bit. Without the director, other people on the set began to gradually let themselves go. Anyway, the director also said, just use your own expression and lip sync the lines well. It's a commercial film. Fans pay for it, so there's no need to take it too seriously. Li Chang'e's stand-in even quietly showed a little more profile in the camera, pretending not to be careful. After all, every substitute has a secret ambition to rise to the top. A few more minutes passed. Under Li Chang'e's extremely expectant eyes, the director walked slowly with a seemingly heavy box on his face expressionlessly. His expression became a bit dull. Li Chang'e was completely focused on the delicately wrapped pink gift box in the director's hand, and did not notice the director's dull expression. Lao Pan suddenly frowned. No one else noticed the director's actions. Still humming and acting according to the script. Lighting engineers, special effects artists, and sound effects are intertwined into a gorgeous stage. The director walked step by step. Stuffed the box into Li Chang's ear. Li Changsong's heart sank slightly and he took the box from the enthusiastic fan. Yo! The moment he took the box, Li Chang'e couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. The box seemed lighter than he expected. After shaking, there was a slight noise in the box. This doll seems a little smaller than expected. The size doesn't seem right. Li Chang'e raised his head and was about to ask. Suddenly. Only then did Li Chang'e realize that the director who had just given him a fan gift 20 seconds ago had disappeared. So shy. I don't plan to open it here either. When Li Chang'e was slightly confused, a warm feeling gradually came from the box. Suddenly, the box lit up. From the tight cracks in the package, a strange light shone faintly. Special effects? So realistic? Suddenly, without warning, a baseball bat appeared in Lao Pan's hand. At the moment when the box was glowing and heating up, Lao Pan kicked up the box in Li Chang'e's body. Oh drink dash. When moving his feet, Lao Pan had already prepared his batting posture with his hands. As for the ball, already kicked up by Lao Pan. This is the ball. Boom. Lao Pan's stick almost brushed against the tip of Li Chang'e's nose. Li Chang'e didn't realize what happened at all, and suddenly felt a burning pain coming from the tip of his nose. Under Lao Pan's stick, the box flew into the air like a cannonball. Old Pan, you. Li Chang'e turned his head. After Lao Pan hit the home run, he silently put away Harley's best friend. Then, boom. There was a violent explosion from the box in mid-air. Heat waves rolled from the air, and at the moment of the explosion, everyone fell to the ground in fear. Li Chang'e was dumbfounded, but he still stood with his back upright, still standing there with the heat wave rolling in and the strong wind blowing in his face. Li Chang'e remained unmoved. Only, the hair is messed up. All blown aside. It's hot all around. Instead, Li Chang'e felt a chill running down his back. When Yilin rushed to the scene, dedicated police officers have cordoned off the scene. Yilin did not reveal her identity and was directly blocked from the cordon. Blowed up again. Yilin was not angry, nor did he directly reveal his identity as a special group. Instead, he squinted his eyes and observed the thick smoke rising from the building. He is not very familiar with the terrain of the film and television city. Therefore, it is impossible to analyze any useful information from the position where the thick smoke comes out. But at least Li Chang'e can still speak, so he probably won't die for the time being. Right now. Orala sent a contact. The damn fat guy is ready. How are you doing over there? It's nothing, the film and television city was just bombed. Don't worry about it for now, I'll find a way to go in and take a look first. Yilin interrupted the communication. When no one was paying attention, Yilin directly activated Shadow Follower. Walked in swaggeringly. The film and television city has already become a mess. The police were recording simple statements for everyone in the studio and asking other people about the incident. Well, accident. Yilin quickly found Li Chang'e. After Li Chang'e finished recording, he and Lao Pan stood quietly aside. Li Chang'e looked calm. When he saw Yilin coming, he smiled slightly and nodded towards Yilin. But at the same time, in Yilin's chat window, Li Chang'e's profile picture was already vibrating crazily. Boss. Help. I almost got cold. Death is like the wind, always with me. It's over. I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Yilin's face was expressionless. He calmly concentrated a psychic power slap and threw it towards Li Chang'e's face. Snapped. The left side of the face. Who hit me? Li Chang'e frowned. Snapped. The right side of the face. Yilin's chat window finally became quiet. Extremely comfortable. When Yilin walked up to Li Chang'e was still covering his face, confused inside but calm on the surface. Li Chang'e lowered his voice and whispered, Boss, I seem to have encountered something strange again. Someone seemed to have slapped me in the face just now. Yeah, Yulin nodded calmly, maybe it's the person behind you who thinks your efficiency is too slow. Li Chang'e was suddenly startled. The strength of Yulin's telekinesis now is far less than that of Gui Wuxian when he could move mountains with his hands and feet, but when used to quietly slap his face, it seems to be just the right strength. Say it. There were many staff in the film and television city, so Yulin's appearance did not attract much attention. It was a matter of life, so Li Chang'e didn't dare to talk nonsense and told the whole thing. Bomb. Yulin glanced at Lao Pan and said, "Have you washed your hands?" Lao Pan slowly typed a question mark. So Yulin silently took a few steps away from Lao Pan and continued to ask, "Your director gave you the bomb, so, where is the director?" Hear the words. Li Chang'e suddenly reacted. Yes. Where is the director? He always thought it was an apostle pretending to be a fan, and sent the bomb disguised as a doll gift, but he forgot one very important thing. That bomb was stuffed into Li Changsong's body by the director himself. But that's not right. Li Chang'e has known this director for a long time. Not long after Li Chang'e debuted, he began to have many collaborations with this veteran director. How could it be possible? Impossible. Li Chang'e raised objections almost immediately. I'm just asking you, where is the director? Yulin did not answer Li Chang'e's question. Li Chang'e took a deep breath and quickly calmed down. If the mood breaks down, special effects will most likely pop up. Li Chang'e pointed in the direction of the backstage. Originally, non-staff members were prohibited from entering. But after such an incident, no one paid attention to the small issue of whether the idlers could enter. Yulin directly activated Shadow Follower, avoiding everyone's sight and entering the backstage of the set. After the explosion, the backstage was already deserted. The police who are searching are currently focusing on investigating the explosion scene and extracting the confessions of the first witnesses. They have not yet searched the background. Yulin wasted no time and released her senses as she walked. Xiao Bai, go. Bai Xiao. It even expanded the horizons. 20 seconds later. Yulin's expression changed slightly. He put Bai Xiao away. He quickened his pace and went directly to the toilet in the lounge. In the toilet, a middle-aged man didn't even have time to pull up his pants. He was sitting on the smart toilet with his eyes wide open. His face was livid, the whites of his eyes were bloodshot, and he was leaning against the wall. He had already stopped breathing. The high-end smart toilet is still playing music. I'm standing in front of you, you see I look a bit like before. Died. If this man who didn't have time to lift up his pants was what Li Chang'e said about the director. There was also a circle of bruises around the director's neck. The ground was very clean, with no footprints left. Yulin gently pinched the director's neck a few times. There was a clicking sound in his neck. The neck bones were crushed. Yulin's heart moved. He thought of the first security guard described by Zhao Yulong who died in Zhang Huishan's hands, and his neck seemed to have been broken directly. That is to say, Zhang Huishan has been here. She is eyeing Li Chang'e. How did she know about Li Chang'e's identity as an apostle? Even Zhao Yulong showed unexpected emotions when he learned that Li Chang'e was also an apostle. There were several question marks silently buried in Yulin's heart. No more information could be obtained from the body or the scene. The director did not struggle at all before he died. It seemed that Zhang Huishan broke into the toilet directly and broke the director's neck with one hand before the director could react at all. Yulin believed that even a slightly strengthened apostle could do this. After all, director Li Chang'e is just an ordinary person. Judging from his belly and loose fat, his attributes should not be high. Li Erpang. Yulin simulated 5 different states of mind when the director died: sad, anger, shy, excited, Consternation. While wiping away the traces left by himself, such as footprints and the like. Yilin didn't want to cause trouble, and she didn't have time to cause trouble. Very tight schedule. Yilin is well aware of the police's search capabilities, although he now has a legal identity. But Yilin doesn't have much time to deal with ordinary people. It would be better to leave this kind of matter to the pushy oral. After Yilin came out of the restroom toilet, the police almost recorded the statements of the relevant persons. Yilin silently returned to Li Chang'e. The director is dead. Li Chang'e. Yilin raised his head with a calm expression. Next, I have other things to do. You pretend to go to the toilet in the lounge, and then you find the director's body. By the way, remember a few times, but as an actor, it shouldn't be difficult for you. Li Chang'e nodded and remembered Yilin's words. After Yilin finished explaining, her eyes flickered and she was ready to leave. Hey, wait, boss. Wait. Didn't you consider that I might be targeted by that person? Yilin chuckled. It seems you are not stupid. Be more confident and remove the word maybe. Li Chang'e instantly felt his anus tighten. A small chrysanthemum flashed and exploded behind Li Chang'e. The special effects were so subtle and many that no one noticed. But you don't have to worry too much. Yilin glanced at Lao Pan. Think about why she used this roundabout way. It means that for some reason, she didn't dare or couldn't do it to you in public. Yilin paused and added, no, Lao Pan is quite reliable. After saying that, Yilin quietly left. In the same place, only Li Chang'e was left, who was crying but had no tears in his heart, but on the surface he was still calm and calm. There is also Lao Pan, who is picking his nose. After Yilin left the film and television city. Looked at the time. I closed my eyes and thought for a few minutes. Suddenly, Yilin laughed inexplicably. Sure enough, is this time limit the same for both parties? Zhang Huishan also has a time limit. So it's not just us who are anxious, Zhang Huishan is equally anxious. So, Yilin quickly hid her smile, turned on the communication function, and contacted the fat man who was about to make a move. Hating City. Zongji District. In the afternoon. The sun is still shining brightly. Even a bit dazzling. A young man with a cheerful expression was walking on the road as if he didn't recognize his relatives. Hey, the admission list for the Special Warfare Department of Hating University has been released. All these years of strengthening my body have not been in vain. I am about to stand out. Hello, may I ask? Right now. A sweet and somewhat gentle voice sounded from behind the high-spirited young man. The sound is like the sweet-scented Osman thus blooming in September. Just hearing that sound is enough to arouse endless reverie. Yo! People feel good when happy events happen? Good luck rolls in. The young man's heart moved, and he slowly turned his head, trying his best to put on a gentle and kind smile. There should be no mess in the hairstyle. Your expression should be calm. It doesn't matter, you are generous. The young man turned around. What came to her face was a pure white dress. Wow! White? The young man silently clicked a like. The skirt is very white. With lace trim. Lace. The young man felt a little excited. Such a pure and girlish style made the young man couldn't help but give a thumbs up in his heart. Oops, no, wait a minute. There seems to be a little problem. Shouldn't this lace be visible only when you lower your head? Why is the lace just stuck in front of me? And it seems that the size of this lace white skirt is, a bit. With a few question marks, the young man slowly raised his head.